What's going on, everybody? It is Monday, August the 22nd, 2022, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is episode 163 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. And tonight, is Bigfoot real? We have the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! We're live! Yes, Tony and I, we have traveled the earth. We have traveled the world. Tony and I have this past week. You didn't know that, but that's what Tony and I have been doing all week. We've been traveling the world. We've been interviewing people. We have been in the trenches trying to figure out whether Bigfoot is real. Is there such a thing as a bipedal 6'10" hairy man that has eluded us for decades and causes people's cameras to be shaky? Is there something?
Or pixelated with 2022 video footage.
That's right. It just so happens that people, even in 2022 with 8K and 4K and HD, they're still using 4.2 megapixel phones and cameras. No, but listen, first of all, Tony, how are you?
Dude, I'm actually really, I love talking horror, but I love it when we kind of, go off the tracks a little bit and do shit like this.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's refreshing. It's fun. This is going to be a fun topic tonight. Cause it's, for me anyway, I don't know about you, but for me, it's very nostalgia. In that it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of, being in grammar school, 4th and 5th grade. I actually did book reports, and I'm no knowledgeable person because you're talking a 4th and 5th grader here. No, I'm serious. And the books I was getting my information on was in our grammar school library. So right. Just for context,
I got you.
I mean, I haven't spent years, but I did do a book report on Loch Ness and I did do one on Bigfoot.
Right.
And it just, whenever we're talking about this, whether it's Loch Ness or Bigfoot or anything like that, we came up at a great time in the 80s where technology hadn't quite caught up, you know what I mean? To where we could sit there and have discussions as young kids and be like, maybe Loch Ness is real. Maybe Bigfoot is real.
Hang on a sec, Tony. Your video is choppy again. I don't know what's going on. You might want to just quickly bow out now and come right back in. Yeah, good idea. He's coming right back in, folks. He's coming right back in. While we wait for Tony to come back in, I want to give a shout out to Carl Lamas, I think is your last name, buddy. This guy a few weeks ago sent me this cool Halloween jersey. It's this cool thing here. This is what it looks like on the back. Check this out. He's got my name on the back and everything. Look at that. Can you guys see that? Isn't that cool? That's fucking awesome, man. Totally awesome. Thank you, Carl. You are awesome. And it's got, the little Halloween pumpkin there on the sleeves and everything. Here's Tony. Let me get him back in here. There you go. So he's going to come right back in. And it's got, on the front of it, it just says Halloween on the front. So I'm going to throw this on today. Thank you, Carl. He sent this to me a few weeks ago. And I made a post about it on my social media and thanked him. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Tony, you're now all I see is, oh, wait a minute. It's going away. No, he's bowed out. He's going to come back in again. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, at least I have something to talk about while we wait for Tony, and then we'll get him to finish his thought. But I am putting this on and rocking this, baby. Rocking this. Isn't this cool? What do you guys think? Huh? Yeah, it's a little big, but it's great for I don't know, wearing around on a lazy Sunday afternoon or something like that, or just, I don't know, wearing it to bed even. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. I'm digging it. The back is awesome. Has my name and the Halloween, Michael Myers and stuff. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. So again, shout out to you, Carl, for sending this my way. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And here he is. Let's see if this works. Come on, Tony, my man. Wait a second. It's all right. There he is. He's back. He is
fucking
back.
Hey, dude. I swear to
I'm
God.
telling you, it's Bigfoot.
I'm telling you,
Bigfoot.
my prostate examination one day is probably going to be more pleasurable than this fucking app that we use.
Well, no, I don't think it's necessarily Zoom. It might just be a connection thing on. And who knows? Who knows? But it's
so
okay. I mean, listen. Or you know what? It's fucking what's her face from
Barnes,
yes.
Man. You know,
exactly.
Seriously, ever since we watched that fucking movie, our shit has never been the same. It
never has. I'm telling you, she is pissed. Anyway, while you were trying to get that sorted out, no worries at all, dude. It happens. It happens. It gave me time to give a shout out to Carl, who sent this really cool jersey. Can you see the back of that, Tony? Can you see that?
We're on a delay, so
we're on a delay. You will in a second. You will in a second. You'll see it in a second. But pretty cool indeed. It should pop up here in a second. You'll see. It's got my name and it's got what's his face? Michael Myers on the back. Is it popping up there yet? Guess it depends on how long our delay is.
God, this delay is forever.
Oh, maybe because you had to come back in. Maybe that's
no, because I never closed down YouTube.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow, it's really should be showing up now. Nothing?
Did I miss it?
Maybe you did. I'll send you a photo.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. We are on a delay.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Shouldn't be that long.
All right, hold on. It says Dave McRae. I think Michael was blocked by your mic, but it looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, no, that's actually really badass because someone, I've got a t-shirt coming. Someone sent me, fucking hey man, I gotta send this to you. It's a really fucking cool picture. It looks like the Batman comic books. It's got the classic old G, kind of navy blue gray Batman suit, and it's called Batman Challenge of the Shape, and it's got Michael Myers stalking towards Batman.
Cool.
So it's kind of like playing off of The Longest Halloween, which is one of my favorite graphic novels and graphic novel cartoon by Batman. And someone sent that to me. I was like, oh my God, you're combining both my worlds. I'm buying it.
Yes, for sure. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool jersey. I like that shit.
It is. It's amazing.
Kind of a throwback jersey to what we wore in the 90s.
A little bit. And I dug it. It's a little big, but that's okay because
just throw it on backwards with the jeans and your
exactly. I'm not playing ball in it. I mean, you wear it on a lazy Sunday or wear it to bed or whatever. I don't know. Wear it to bed. But anyway, Tony,
or have your girl wear it to bed.
Yeah. Hey. I don't know. Maybe I might be able to convince her. You never know. You never know.
What I was saying before Laura Barnes rudely interrupted us regarding Bigfoot and being in grammar school doing the book reports on Bigfoot and Loch Ness.
Yes.
It reminds me of a time in our youth where where we were growing up, technology had not quite caught up to where it is now. So you could have these conversations back then with Bigfoot and Loch Ness, and maybe, you know what I mean? So you could run with your imagination and, we could believe in something that may exist, which was really fun. We're now with technology, obviously we know that's not to say there isn't an animal that once lived in Loch Ness that's prehistoric. Maybe there is, but as far as like what we knew of Nessie, we kind of know now all the hoaxes and the photos were faked and stuff like that. And Bigfoot for me is that last hope. Bigfoot, I'm still not quite giving up on just quite yet. I'm still somewhat of a believer, but as more and more shit comes out, which you told me before the show, which kind of is just so disheartening because I'm in that category of hopeful that maybe there is just something out there that we don't know. And that's just a part of the imagination, letting the imagination run wild, which is good to do. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, we've become so technologically advanced that I don't know, it loses the charm and innocence that we once have where everything is pretty much debunked.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks.
Look, I totally agree with what you're saying. It should be no secret to anybody that, if you watch me for any length of time, I mean, if you've only watched, 2 of my videos, you probably think I'm annoying, but if you stick with me, you'll soon learn that, obviously I love, mood and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, but what comes with that? Like what does that create? It creates mystery and intrigue, and I'm a big fan of all that stuff, mood, atmosphere, mystery, intrigue, the unknown, all that kind of stuff. I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. I used to love talking about UFOs and Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot, or, mysterious things with my dad, growing up, or my mom, or my sister, whoever. But you're right. As we've progressed technologically as a society, obviously, there's a lot of things that, we've now been able to debunk or look beyond. And it's unfortunate. But at the same time, I don't want to live, if it really isn't true, I don't want to live in a world where I pretend it's true just because I like the feeling. Yeah, right. If it's really not true, if that photo of Loch Ness is really, fake, which it has been debunked now for, like years now, I don't want to turn a blind eye and just because it was cool to think it was real because nobody knew in 1986, But
what about the possibility? You know what I mean? Like, I like 100% possibility.
100%.
I don't need it completely debunked to where it's totally. I like the maybe. You know what I mean? It just
for
maybe
sure.
It could exist.
I think out of the big three, when we talk about like Loch Ness, Bigfoot, and aliens, I think aliens is the most probable based on what we know about the universe and the trillions of stars and the billions of galaxies and the billions of planets. And
there's no way we're the only one.
There's no way we're alone. The probability is so low, that it's just laughable, right? So I'm not saying that all the alien stories you hear are real. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think that's one for sure that is just based on total probability. When it comes to Loch Ness and Bigfoot's an interesting one because, I want to believe too, right? I want it to be real, but the problem I have is I think to myself, well, if it is real, if there is an ape, a 6'10", 7 foot tall, bipedal, humanoid ape that is roaming the Himalayas and the northwest of Canada and the northwest of the States, wherever. If it really does exist, of course, in the Himalayas, it's the Yeti, I believe,
Yeti, yeah.
or the abominable snowman, right? But they're all part of the same family. Then they are either interdimensional or they don't exist. Because it feels like we would have been able to find the remnants of one now. We know that deer and moose and they exist because we see them, but we also find their carcasses. We also find their dead bodies. We also, see them in the bush. We also have non-shaky, high definition video footage of them. Even way back in the day, we'd have crappy photos of them. It just feels like, why haven't we been able to find a body?
My only hope on the Bigfoot thing is that up in that area of the northwest of the States and Canada, there's a lot of forest. A lot of forest.
100%.
You don't
100%.
realize like how quickly, like I learned this lesson the hard way hiking once in Georgia. Now I'm up in the I'm between Tennessee and Georgia in the Appalachian area. I decided to just, let's go off the trail.
Yeah.
Bad idea. Because even with technology that I have, which is a cell phone and GPS, you can get lost.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a scary fucking feeling to not know your bearings in the woods and just how much the woods just keep going.
Right.
Up in that area,
I could not agree more. It is so dense, and obviously we haven't been everywhere. We haven't, we haven't. It's so dense, it's so vast, it's so incredibly, huge that is it possible that there is an undetected bipedal 7 foot tall ape that is roaming around those areas, and the Yeti in the Himalayas or the Sasquatch, wherever? Is it possible? Yes, of course it's possible, but is it probable? I think the further we go along, I just kind of think that by now you'd think we'd find a fossil. I mean, we do know that, what's that thing from however many years and years ago, the Gigantopithecus or whatever it is there, which was essentially a Bigfoot. I mean, that is a real thing. It no longer exists. It's like the saber-toothed tiger, right? At one time it did exist. There was something called, was it Gigantopithecus or whatever? I think it is. And it was,
Something like that, yeah.
like a 7-foot tall bipedal sort of thing. But it's been extinct for, God, I don't know how many years. And you know, but we know that. And how do we know that? Because we have found it. Here we have discovered it. And I just feel that we haven't discovered it. You know, we've never, I mean, yes, we see tracks, but then we know that people fake tracks just as much as they don't. I do find those documentaries interesting. Some documentaries are better than others. I find the ones that you follow, you know, the guys out in the wilderness and they're just out there and they hear, you know, bump in the night. It's just all, it's like those ghost hunting shows, right? You're no further along at the end of the show than you were at the beginning of the show. And it's all really for sensationalism and that kind of stuff. But there's a few shows and docs out there that go a little bit beyond that and bring science into it too. But do give it a chance and really try to examine it and look at it. Is there something really real out here? And I find it interesting. I want it to be real too. And I sincerely do. Nothing would make me happier than to know that, well, it might actually scare the shit out of me, but nothing would make me happier to know how cool that would be if there was. But I need more than footprints. And all the videos I ever see are, you know, like shaky, blurry in the background, or you can kind of tell it's somebody in a suit. And we just haven't discovered a body yet. And that's why I said, you know, are these gigantic 7-foot tall apes, are they interdimensional? I mean, do they show up that we see them and then they're not there anymore because they've disappeared into another dimension? Now it sounds like real kind of, you know, silly stuff, but I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I would love to. I would love to be able to see one. I'm
still hopeful that we got a Harry out there somewhere.
I am too. I am too. Nothing would make me happier.
Loved that movie growing up, Harry.
Oh, I love it. Man, I love it. Did you like the thumbnail? Did you like the thumbnail?
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. That was totally, man. We played as kids because my father had that movie. We played that every time we'd be at his house on the weekend. We would play the shit out of that movie as kids.
Same.
John Lithgow was great in that.
Yep.
I forget the
Peter Hall was Harry, who was the same guy that was the Predator in Predator.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, something Peter Hall.
And they did a great job on the makeup with Harry and Henderson. Like, it's great. Really fucking good for practical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like today would probably look like shit with CGI, but man, the work that they did on that costume, they did a really good job. My other favorite, not favorite, but the other Bigfoot movie I did enjoy watching recently was the I always fuck his name up.
Is it Bob Goldthwait? Yeah,
whatever his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude. He did a, like, what is it, Sasquatch or something?
Something. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's actually quite entertaining.
It's literally the Blair Witch Project, but Bigfoot. I mean, literally, he took the original Blair Witch Project concept, and when you watch it, you're going to see a lot of like, oh, okay, you know, similarities that happened in the Blair Witch,
right?
But because this is a Bigfoot story, he took those elements and put it into his story, and the payoff was kind of fucked up. I mean, it really was like, oh,
interesting.
Shit.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that movie now, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not. But it was pretty solid. I can't fuck. It's like Sasquatch.
Kevin Peter Hall. Thanks, Blair and Mitch. Appreciate that. That's right. Yeah. Kevin Peter Hall, who unfortunately died many years ago. He's been dead for a long time, but yeah. But so now we're going to watch a couple of, obviously the most famous Bigfoot video ever is the Patterson video from 1966 or whatever it was, 1960 something. And it is, I want to believe it. I want to believe it is real. I sincerely do. And there are people out there on both sides of the coin that have examined it and believe it's totally real, because if you look at the muscular structure of the leg and how it hits the ground, and like they're going deep into it. And then there are people on the other side of the coin, they're like, no, it's not real because of this, 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 and this. And there was there is a video, and if we have time, we'll get to it. There was a guy that came forward in 2005 who said, no, I'm the guy that is, I was the guy that was in the suit because I was friends with Patterson. When he was interviewed in 2005, he was like in his 60s or 70s or something like that. And he does the walk for you, and it looks identical. It really looks identical. He says, I'm the guy, here's what happened, here's what went down. I have the video to bring it up. You know, again, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's full of crap. I have no idea. But I just thought it was interesting, you know, as well. It's another part of the story, obviously. But that Patterson video for many years was like the sort of the Roswell of Bigfoot, you know. And I want to believe, man, I do. I sincerely do. I sincerely do. But a lot of those, as I'm sure you know, Tony, because you're smart on this kind of stuff too. You know, there's a lot of them out there that you watch and you're like, oh, come on, guys. You know what I mean?
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And we will get to your super chats at the end of the segment here, of course, when we go over to the Q&A part. But feel free to send them in now if you want your question guaranteed an answer. Okay, let's go over to the other screen. I just realized that our mics are not up on the other screen, so just give me a second while I go to the other screen and bring our mics up. My apologies. One moment. You won't be able to hear us for just a couple of seconds. So here we go. Check, check, check. Okay, there's me. And no, hang on. We'll bring Tony in. Okay. Check, 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 Tony.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay. Now we're here. I don't know why. For whatever reason, OBS will often just mute our mics for some reason. Okay, so who is this?
It's a sign telling us to shut up and roll it.
You were... who we're going to be watching here is... yeah.
Nukes?
Yes. Explain to us who this is, and you've had people tell you to watch it.
We've had a couple people request for this to check out Nuke's Top 5. It's a popular YouTube channel. Primarily focuses on ghost stories and paranormal, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see about going into the paranormal videos with his. I don't know if Dave is going to be able to get through it with a straight face. I'm just saying, like the dude. Like I said, I don't know if he is trolling us when he's doing his delivery. You'll get a sense of his vibe here, though, in this video of like, you know, when we watch it.
Okay.
Whereas the other one that we watch, I think that dude's being serious. Like, I think he's trying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where Nuke, I don't know if the guy who does Nukes if he's just busting our balls. You know what I mean? Like with how he's setting up a story, like, when she sent this in this video, it will terrify you, or it's the things that will give you nightmares. Like he's saying shit like that, and I'm like, I don't know if he's being serious, or I don't know, or if he's just, you know, joking around.
Gotcha.
So I don't want to overly be critical on who this person is, but it was requested, and you know, I came across the Bigfoot video, and I was like, this might be fun to do. So here we are.
Okay. Okay, here we go, folks. Ready, Tony?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, let me get my mouse over there. There we are. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Top 5 scary things caught on camera. Bigfoot. Sasquatch versus tree. Oil workers at a construction site in Alberta, Canada noticed a large, dark figure coming out of the mist in some nearby woods. One of the workers grabbed his phone and began filming the large shape.
It but arbitrary to use.
There's a creature running up around over that bit. See?
Oh, yeah, okay, now I see something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of coming over the...
Yeah. Oh, just through the tree.
Now, in the original copy of this video, very little can be made out. All we hear are the construction workers talking about something in the misty woods, quote, throwing a tree. But YouTuber Thinker Thunker stabilized and enhanced the video, revealing a much better image of what the workers saw in the mist. A large dark figure can be seen lurking at the edge of the woods, and then actually picking up a tree with one hand and hurling it 30 to 40 feet through the air.
Kind of looks
So
like a
is this
bear.
evidence of a Bigfoot caught
A
on
little
tape?
bit. That kind of
Is it
just
a
went
fake
like
tree?
that.
Yeah.
Or is it just someone in a Sasquatch suit with truly amazing arm strength? You decide. The
All right.
Russian
Okay, before
Okay.
we go on to the Russian Yeti.
Pause
so,
it. I
what do we
paused
think
it.
about this? I thought the same thing too when I saw it. It's like, man, that looks like a bear, and it just
Yeah.
swiped at it. And bears are powerful fucking animals.
They
you know
are.
what I mean? So
Extremely
and
powerful.
The type of tree that you're seeing in the video would not be impossible for a bear to swipe at it and for it to look like it's being tossed. You know what I mean? Because it's not going overhand. It's kind of doing like a sidearm toss with it. You know what I mean? Which a bear can swipe in that direction. So that was my thought.
Agreed. And I mean, bears are so powerful. And I think that there are a lot, and bears can walk on their hind legs.
Yes, they can.
So I think it is important to at least mention that a lot of the Bigfoot sightings are probably actually bear sightings. I mean, if you're not expecting it and you're out in the wilderness and you're looking through dense trees or whatever, and you see this thing walking on, upright, and if it's a grizzly, I mean, if a grizzly could be like 6'8" or something on its hind legs. I mean, it could be huge. So I think at the very least, I think, some of these sightings are probably bears. This, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see.
And it looked like it was kind of hunched down like a bear too.
Yeah, it
You know what I mean?
did.
It wasn't
It did.
standing tall.
It did. And then it's like, well, we have to figure out, was the tree that was tossed, was that added in afterwards by this guy who, I mean, he was,
Well,
I don't know.
the thing I will say, they
Although
do
the
they
workers
do a
said
good
they
job of
said it.
blending it to look like shit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, no,
Like,
for sure. I'm not saying they did, but I would probably, there's no evidence here that it's a Bigfoot. I would likely probably say it's a bear.
Yeah.
What's the most logical explanation for this? It's probably a bear. That's what I would think. I guess we're kind of on the same page. What do you think in the chat room? Bear, Bigfoot, Robert Downey Jr.? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Robert Downey Jr.
whoever. All right, let's go on to the next one. The Russian
Yeti.
Yeti. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yetis. Now, the accounts of Bigfoot-type creatures from Russia tend to be more of the Yeti/abominable snowman variety. The Yeti is considered to be a slightly different creature from the North American Bigfoot, but similar enough that the names Yeti and Bigfoot are often confused or used interchangeably. In this first clip, some guys are driving on a snowy Russian forest road near the Ural Mountains. The region is infamous for Yeti sightings. The travelers have a strange encounter all their own.
First of all, I'm impressed by the vehicle that's driving through that.
Yeah.
That's some serious.
The car's driver, Vadim Gilmanov, swears that the footage is 100% real.
Right there?
He says that it could have been someone pulling a prank, but it would have been a very rare location for a joke, as the site was in a mountain forest
Or it's
in
one
the
of
middle
their
of
buddies.
nowhere.
Buddies.
Delving even further into the legend of the Russian Yeti, in this video, 5 young Russian boys find some rather large footprints in the snow and decide to follow them to see where they lead.
I do like in his presentation that, like, when he does it forward, like, he'll combine a couple videos
Yes.
as part of this segment.
Yes.
I like that.
Yep, agreed. This could be bear tracks.
Well, freaking Russians, man, they wrestle with bears when they're toddlers. You ever see that video of Kamita the
No.
MMA fighter? Wrestling with a bear when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Kamita, I think that's his name.
It'd be great if if it was a bear and it just ate one of the kids.
Hey, that got dark quick.
Yeah, blood spurting all over the white snow.
Oh, in the trees. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I had a
I
hard
see.
time with this one. I couldn't see it. Now I see it.
What is that? Zoom up! Use the
I don't
zoom!
know. Probably a creeper checking out kids.
Yeah, probably.
Пошли нахуй отсюда. Пошли быстрее нахуй. Да пошли. Я говорю, я последний, меня
And it looks like it's chasing them, too. I'll tell you what, they don't seem too scared for kids. If something like a Yeti type creature was chasing them,
It's probably their dad.
I'd be freaking the fuck
It's
out.
their
as a kid.
dad.
Ты убежал самый первый. Чего топаешь?
When the boys find something in the woods at the end of the tracks, they seem to wish they had never
also
decided to
bending.
investigate.
But it looks like it's more standing than like barely.
That could be anything.
Yeah. Could be a creep.
Yeah.
Woods.
Пошли нахуй отсюда. Пошли
Could be
быстрее.
So are
Harrison
these
Ford.
two examples of Russian Yetis, or just elaborate hoaxes? Let me know what you think down in the comments.
Sec.
All right. Number 3. We'll pause.
Yeah,
Okay, number 3 is paused.
Yeah,
So,
Hey, by the way, did Lucas get inspiration for where Luke was in Hoth for the abominable abominable snowman?
I have no idea. You'd probably have to speak to
The
Lawrence
monster-
Kasdan.
the
who-
monster that's kind of holding Luke captive.
well, it's definitely. I mean, there's definitely inspiration from that. I would imagine.
that's what I thought. Like I was
Yeah.
like, he had to have pulled some inspiration
because that's
for that.
essentially what it is.
Pretty much right.
You
It's
know.
an abominable snowman.
Um,
Yeah, the first one I agree with you. I think it's their buddies just kind of darting across in whatever costume.
Yeah.
You know.
Again,
they're
it's
out in the middle
always
of the
far
woods.
away. You know, it's always. How many videos do we have of deer and moose darting out like right in front of the camera? You know, or how many times of like the great thing about Harry and the Hendersons is they hit Harry like how people hit deer. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you always hope you don't hit a deer because depending on the size of the deer, it could fuck you up.
Wreck your car.
Could wreck your car and kill you. I mean, moose. Have you seen the size of moose?
They're massive.
Massive.
You
Hitting
do not
them-
want to be chased down by a moose.
And you do
No.
not want to hit a moose with your car. It would be
Oh, you're
like
done.
it'd be like hitting a Mack truck.
Pretty much.
But the thing with Harry and the Hendersons is that they hit Harry like how people do hit skunks or deer, you know, whatever. It's never happened. It's never happened, you know, and it's like, God damn it.
Bonkers.
You know, that fucking elusive Bigfoot, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the first one's probably their buddies, and the second one could be their dad. I mean, I don't know what that is in the background. What do you think, chat room? What do you think? Bigfoot? You think it's the abominable snowman? Do you think it's somebody's dad? Do you think it's Robert Downey Jr.? I don't know.
No, I think as of right now, the first video, I think it is definitely an animal of sorts. I'm leaning towards a bear. This one, these two, fake.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, let's go on to the
Albino Bigfoot.
albino Bigfoot. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Albino Bigfoot. Residents of Carbondale, Pennsylvania have been reporting strange sightings and bizarre noises from the woods for weeks. Some of the odd reports mentioned something that looked like a monkey or ape, even though, of course, no such animals can be found in the region. Allegedly, one night a Carbondale resident heard bizarre sounds emanating from the woods behind his home. He grabbed his video camera and went to investigate.
Are you paused?
No, I'm not paused. Why?
It's frozen.
Oh, you froze?
My whole thing froze on me.
Oh, okay. I'm paused now. Let you get yourself sorted out there. What's the chat room saying? Kevin Nash in a fur coat. It was scary. It was Gary Busey. Scary Busey. Gary Busey. Yeah, that's awful what that his charges the other day. Fucking Gary Busey. Way to go, buddy.
What happened? I didn't hear it.
Oh, he's been charged with sexual assault. He was at, I think it's at Monster Mania, the one in New Jersey, or Monster something, some con. And there were some complaints put forward that he was, not behaving. And
Diddling with people that he shouldn't have been diddling?
probably. And he was removed from the con, asked not to return and come back. He'll never come back. And I think he's been charged. It was all over the news the other day. Way to go, Gary. Way to go.
Let's start from the beginning.
Want to start from the beginning? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Kate right there. Okay, ready?
All right.
1,
Got it.
5, 4.
Not the beginning, but the
The beginning of the third one.
Yep.
Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Albino Bigfoot. Residents of Carbondale, Pennsylvania have been reporting strange sightings and bizarre noises from the woods for weeks. Some of the odd reports mentioned something that looked like a monkey or ape, even though, of course, no such animals can be found in the region. Allegedly, one night a Carbondale resident heard bizarre sounds emanating from the woods behind his home. He grabbed his video camera and went to investigate.
And he found 2 lovers banging. No. Oh, here we go. One of these types of videos. Gotta love these kinds of videos. As if you'd go out there like this.
Right. In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the
night.
woods, middle of the night, hearing strange noises. I wouldn't do
I know,
that.
I sure as shit.
I wouldn't do that. Would anybody? Chat room, would you go out there and do this? I mean, maybe if I was with like 5 other people. But I certainly wouldn't go by myself.
As if this incident weren't bizarre enough, what made this report different from most Bigfoot sightings is that the creature seems to be covered in striking, all-white fur. As usual, online debate was fierce. Many claimed that the video was simply a man in a suit and a mask. Some video analysts claimed that when slowed down, the animal can actually be seen to blink as it moves from the light and move its mouth. But what do you think?
Oh, it's
Is
just
this an
it's just
albino
motion
Bigfoot
blur.
caught on camera?
It's not blinking.
Or just a guy in a really nice white Sasquatch suit? You decide. Eyes.
All right, I paused it. Let's go back
this
to
one's
the other
pretty, I think, like you said, dude, if I'm going out in the woods in the middle of the night, it's usually I'm going out with a girl and
one. Yeah, I mean, it's look. I mean,
but for like this by myself, first of all, if you're by yourself in a situation like that, I don't think that creature would be afraid of you.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I
it
think
depends, but
I
yeah.
got a feeling the creature would probably start defending itself, and its instincts would take over to attack you because it probably would feel threatened.
Right.
I mean, it's usually, most like a bear, for example. If you cross a bear, especially mama bear with her cubs, okay, if you get anywhere near, mama bear and her cubs, especially her cubs, you're done. Like you're done.
Well, a lot of bear attacks on people are because, and it's no fault. It's not your fault. Well, not necessarily unless you're a dick, but it's not the fault of the person. Sometimes you just come up over the ridge and you come upon them. You know what I mean? And you don't mean to or whatever, but the bear doesn't know that, right? The bear
and it goes into its defense
mode and it attacks you. And people have been killed simply because the bear was just defending its cubs.
That's it. And I think in this situation with whatever they're claiming, I think it would have responded the same way. Like, you're in its territory. Why is it running off? It should be defending itself.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if there is such thing as a Bigfoot, obviously we don't know what it would do or the species. But you're right. I mean, that's a possibility. This just looks like a guy in a suit, and there's no blinking there whatsoever. What you're seeing is just motion blur. It's not blinking. It's not, licking its lips or whatever. It's just people just who don't understand video or photography, look at that and they go, oh, it looks like it's blinking. It's not blinking. It's motion blur. So I would just say that
this guy's
this is
buddy. They got a really cool costume.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's make a video for the internet.
And you know what? On that basis, it's really well done.
Oh yeah.
On that basis, it's well done. If they wanted to shoot like a little Blair Witch kind of little home movie or whatever, I think they did a really good job. Like, it looks good, but it ain't no Bigfoot. Come on. What does the chat room think? Do you believe that right there is Bigfoot? It was finally caught on tape. Do you believe you have just witnessed history in the making, ladies and gentlemen? I have a funny feeling our chat room will be like, no, maybe there is. Maybe there's somebody out there that does. I don't know. Let's go over to the other screen and go back.
Eyes in the Woods. This one was actually pretty. This one was pretty creepy. I already know where I'm going with it, but this was creepy.
Okay. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Eyes in the Woods. This next video poster does not claim to be any kind of Bigfoot hunter or Sasquatch investigator. Nevertheless, he was understandably shaken up one night when his two 200-pound English Mastiffs came up to the patio door of his cabin in the woods, begging to be let back inside.
When they bark, they have an English accent.
Curious as to what could have possibly spooked the two huge canines, he grabbed his flashlight and shined it into the woods. He was shocked to see what looked like two eyes standing about 7 to 8 feet off the ground, staring right back at him.
Maybe it was an owl.
There it is again.
That was my first. As someone who has owls that live right in his woods, right here, trust me, it's creepy to see an owl staring at you in the middle of the fucking night. I mean, it is fucking creepy. Or even during the day, if it's like a gloomy day outside and you turn and you see something staring at you, fuck, and it's an owl. Yeah, it fucking.
I mean, listen, I see this, but I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just seeing what looks like a reflection.
Like a nocturnal animal.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It's two forward-facing eyeballs that are just staring right the at it.
How do you go from this to Bigfoot? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many other things this could be.
Michael Myers.
Could be Michael Myers. Could be Jeff Goldblum. Yes. I was out in the woods.
Voorhees.
The woods. The woods.
Leatherface. We just watched Chainsaw Massacre.
100%.
It was Chainsaw Weekend here.
It could be Bo Derek. I mean,
hey, are you gonna do anything about this whatever it is up here? You scared too?
The dog is literally telling you
wagging
it's a fucking owl, dude.
What are you guys scared
wagging
about?
Its tail, like, what are you talking about, bro?
Why don't you go outside?
Scared of shit.
Bro, can we go back and watch the movie we were watching? It's an owl, dude.
Oh,
Get a cat. Get a cat. Let the cat take care of it. I don't know.
Where'd that thing go? It's still up there.
An owl, bro.
I don't know, but it could be anything.
Move! There it is. It looked right at me.
Yeah,
well,
it's a fucking owl. Sitting on the tree.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what I'm looking at.
The fucking light in its direction.
It turned its head again.
I can't fucking see anything.
You know, I see these
Edward
Bigfoot videos and they got the grainy and then I always wonder, why don't they just go running at it? But it's dark up in that hill and I ain't going. And if the dogs won't go outside. Whoa.
All I see is just like reflections. I don't see a body. I don't see a shape. This literally could be anything.
Yeah.
This could be
Now,
somebody's...
there's no evidence that this is a Bigfoot creature.
No.
And the poster doesn't even claim that it is.
That's true.
But he does say that the spot where the eyes can be seen is at a height of around 7 to 8 feet.
Oh.
With no trees or anything else for an animal to perch on. So something very tall was staring at him.
No.
Yeah,
And his
that's
spook
there's
is
a
two
wall
massive,
there.
very protective English Mastiffs.
It looks like there's a wall in his backyard.
That
Yeah,
alone
exactly.
is creepy enough.
Come on!
But if you need a clip of a supposed Bigfoot taking an even closer look, there's this clip.
All right, let's
The
watch it.
uploader claims that each night the fruit seemed to just mysteriously disappear from his apple and pear trees. So expecting that it could be a raccoon or some other
Yeah, look at
outdoor
that. It
pest,
could be a raccoon.
he set up a camera. When he checked the footage the next day, he was shocked by what he found.
He found. Wait, is that a...
It looks like the Lon Chaney's Wolfman.
It does. It looks like almost like a...
I mean, it is weird for sure.
Well, if it's real, it's weird. What am I looking at? It looks like...
See, it looks too human.
It does.
It's-
It does.
Now,
Movements
much
are
like
too
every
humanized, so,
supernatural
like the head
clip on the
turning and
internet,
stuff like
Yeah.
this
that, like-
video has been the subject of
Okay,
much
so here's the
debate.
Brighton one.
Is it a
Some say
bear?
it looks like
On
a
its hind
mask or
legs,
a puppet.
Yeah.
Some
you
say
seeing
it
it
can't be a
right?
mask because the eyes blink and react to the light.
I don't know if I'm headed.
And then others claim that there's no eye reaction at all. So check out the video and decide for yourself. Did this person catch a real life Sasquatch taking a peek through their window?
No.
Or is it just
I-
a hoax? Let me know what you think down in the comments.
Its head movement is too human-like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Patterson.
I just don't think an animal would move its head. All right, Patterson, Glenn. Okay,
Yeah,
hold on,
I
I'm
just
gonna
hit pause.
Because that's the big one.
So, okay, so let's the first one. The guy's right. He didn't claim it.
No, he didn't.
It was a Bigfoot, but I don't. It just looks I mean, when you are out in the when you're out in the woods, you're out in the wilderness. There's so many things out there, so many predators that hunt at night that have those reflective eyes, whether they're cats, whether they're
Possums,
owls,
raccoons,
possums, raccoons.
coyotes.
There's so many things it could be. And I don't know where he is in comparison to where it is. There's a wall there. It's definitely 7 or 8 feet tall. I don't know that. I have no geographical perspective. It could be in a tree. It could be in a branch. It could just be that
I'm
you're
not laughing
lower
at you,
because
I'm
you're
just
at the bottom of a
laughing at someone
hill.
in the comments.
Sorry?
Sorry, I wasn't laughing. I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing what you were saying. It's just someone, because we were saying it was this. P. Rich had I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to piss anyone off, but that was fucking funny.
I didn't see it. I didn't even see it.
Can I read it? Should I read it?
That
That it was Brandon Joe Biden
That's funny.
sniffing bicycle seats.
It could have been. It could have been him. It could have been Catwoman. It could have been anything. It literally could have been. But the point I'm making is that if you think about it seriously, there's so many things in the woods at night that if you were to shine light on would have those types of eyes, right? Because a lot of predators
for
hunt at night.
sure.
You know, it could have been a cat sitting in a tree. So that one is just, it's neither here nor there. The other
second
one,
one's so full of shit.
it's like,
The way the head is moving and like doing this, that's a human-like movement.
yeah.
I don't think the animal, or if it was legitimately Bigfoot, would be moving its head like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be doing that. There's too many human character traits in the head movement that just no, not buying it.
Yeah, the second one
Now
almost.
it's creepy as far as like if you wanted to make a movie around that. That's
Sure. And it at first I thought it was a bear that had wandered up to the home, got on its hind legs, and was looking through the window, because bears have done that. But no, it looks like somebody in a big gorilla sort of type mask or big head mask or something, you know. And again, why are all these videos like this? Why does nobody have one? Like,
Why
if
does
I was
no one have anyone that we're about to watch in a moment? You know what I mean?
fair, yes, right.
Right.
But why, right. And why doesn't, the amount, like I could YouTube right now, deer video, moose video, bear video, cougar video, tiger video, and you'd get hundreds clear as day. There is no question that is a bear. But, you know, Bigfoot is always
And why is it we
shaky
haven't
and pixelated.
had anything as good
Yeah.
since the Patterson-Gilman clip, and that was done in the 60s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
So you would think with modern technology, with the way cell phones are able to shoot video, and
Yeah.
my Panasonic camera, up here, I mean, it's just like, you're telling me the only daytime clear as fuck video that we can look at and dissect and debate on was made in the 1960s.
I know.
Like, that's all we got.
I know. So the video we're about to watch, for those of you that are not familiar with it, it is arguably, not even
Best.
arguably,
It's the best.
it is, and it's the most famous Bigfoot video ever captured. And it was essentially, the Cliff Notes version is that there was this guy who, he was out horseback riding with a couple of buddies or whatever.
Oregon or Washington or some shit.
Something like that, yeah. And this is the 1960s, and he happened to capture a Bigfoot walking across, a ridge, and the Bigfoot looks back at him, and whatever. And it's clear as day. It's during the day. It's clear as day. It is very clear that this is this is definitely a Bigfoot. I'm not saying it is Bigfoot. I'm just saying that this is definitely clearly supposed to be Bigfoot. And it's a bipedal, creature that is walking along, and it's the most,
certainly probably the most debated video
for
out
sure. It's the Roswell alien landing of Bigfoots. You know what I mean? That's what this is, and it's been debated for decades.
And it will continue long past our life. This video will continue to be debated.
It will. But I tend to, now that I know the video that I've seen with the other guy, because there was a guy that came forward and talked about this, which we'll show afterwards, I tend to kind of think it probably was a hoax, and you can read about it too online. But anyway, let's watch the video. Let's check it out. The most famous Bigfoot video in the world. So here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Patterson-Gimlin film. The Patterson-Gimlin film is
67.
considered to be the most
67.
believable Bigfoot video of all time. The 16mm footage
This
was
made me a
captured
believer
all the way back in
back then, for sure.
1967 near Bluff Creek in Northern California. Roger Patterson caught the footage while filming a horse ride with his friend Robert Gimlin. After spotting the creature, Patterson jumped from his horse to continue filming, which left the film somewhat of a shaky mess. However, through the years, Bigfoot researchers and analysts like M.K. Davis have used various video techniques to stabilize and enhance the film. But going back to the time of the original 1967 filming, the Sasquatch footage was screened for special effects experts at both Walt Disney and Universal Studios. The panels agreed that the footage would be almost impossible for even a professional studio to fake, given the special effects techniques and equipment available at the time. Over 50 years later,
That's the guy right there.
Patterson Bigfoot footage remains a heavily debated mystery. No one has ever been able to prove the footage fake or reproduce a similar film. It remains the most believable Bigfoot footage of all time.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, but yes, it's the most famous.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Do you want to go to yours, or do you just want to kind of talk about this one first?
we can go to mine. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to. So this is
kind of marries.
They marry, yeah. So in 2005, obviously Patterson's dead, Gimlin's dead, but there's this other guy who was with them, who used to horseback ride with them, who came out in 2005 and said, no, I don't know, he might be dead now too, but he said, it was me in the suit, here's the situation, here's the story, here's my walk, here's what was going on. And, you would thought that would have kind of put it to bed, but obviously this video is still debated, and you got people saying, no, if you watch, I mean, seriously, I've watched them. I know you have too. There are people on both sides of the coin that say, if you look at the muscular structure of the leg and the way it hits the ground, and I think if you analyze, and there are some people that think it's a woman because it looks like it has breasts, you know, and you're looking, and it's like, holy, and then you got the other side of the coin saying, no, it's not real because of this, this, and this. It is hotly debated.
Well, if that is a woman who's got breasts, those breasts will knock you the fuck out.
They probably will.
Yeah.
Let's go to the...
Where in the video is the segment that you want?
Okay, so the link I gave you, hang on a sec here. The link I gave you was set up at the right time. So you should just be able to click on it. It's supposed to be 35 seconds. 35 seconds. Yeah, one second here. 35 seconds. Let me just get into 35. Just gonna let it hit to 35. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to the Patterson video after we watch.
So just watch a bit of this, and we'll see. Here we go. 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Film is a hoax. There are 3 witnesses. One, Roger Patterson, is dead. The second, Bob Gimlin, isn't talking. So the question is, what about the guy in the suit? Several people have come forward over the years to claim that particular honor. We're here to meet Bob Hieronymus, who as a young man used to ride with Patterson and Gimlin. Bob claims that back in '67, he was the guy who strode across Bluff Creek in Patterson's Bigfoot suit. Around here, there are a lot of people who will back Bob's story up. And, well, there's that walk.
People say I walk like Bigfoot anyway.
That's kind of half the straw.
To his friends, Bob's Bigfoot role is old news.
I've heard a lot of people say, you know, can you believe that old Bob was really Bigfoot? You know, that was a lot of people say that, you know.
Bob says his secret wasn't much of a secret around here.
My biggest concern always was that somebody's going to shoot you, you know.
That was my big concern wearing the suit.
That was my big concern all the time.
Everybody around here, you know, after a few years knew that was me.
Oh, yeah. We knew it.
We all just kind of, everybody just kind of kept it quiet.
According to Bob, Roger Patterson approached him in the fall of 1967 with an offer that was too good to pass up.
He wanted a pretty good sized guy, you know, somebody that they could trust to wear this Bigfoot suit. They said, we'll pay you $1,000 and it'll only take about 10 minutes. So I was 26 years old at the time. I jumped on it, you know.
After a trial run in Yakima, Bob says, they all shook hands and agreed to rendezvous in California in a few weeks' time. They met up in Bluff Creek, home of the infamous Wallace tracks and many Bigfoot sightings.
The next morning we got up and they made coffee and saddled up the horses, put the Bigfoot suit on the back of one of the horses.
We
went about, seemed like about a half
a mile. Are you okay, or do you need me to pause?
From where they were camped up into this place where they had picked.
Did you?
Trying to do.
Sorry?
Everything just like froze on me.
Okay, no problem. I'm paused at, do you want me to, where am I here? I'm paused at like 2:58. 2:58.
It may not work, dude. It's because it's trying to work. I don't know if it's because I'm running too many.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Man, I need to upgrade my computer, I think, at some point.
Okay, that's fair. All right, we'll get through this a little bit here, and then we'll go back to the other screen. You ready?
To what?
2:58. Are you able to get it? If not, we can.
It's doing its thing.
It's doing its thing.
Come on. All right, I'm at 236 and counting.
Okay. To what are you at?
240. 244.
All right. Pretty good. We're getting there.
247, 248, 252,
Okay.
254, 255, 56, 57, 58.
Okay.
Place where they had picked out before I got there to film the Bigfoot film. We unloaded the suit, and of course they helped me in it. It was in October, you know.
That's
And I figured if I
No, this is a dramatization,
most
obviously.
people go out to have a gun, you know. You know, it was so hot inside that suit, and the sweat was just rolling off me, and I was nervous, you know, and a little bit claustrophobic. Roger told me to go over at this certain place and stand there. I got out there and waited, and he gave me the signal. He was sitting on one of my horse that he took down there, and so he took the camera and kind of went like that. You know, as you can see, the film is shaky. I started walking out across there, and I walked, I don't know how many yards it was, and I turned, you know, the old Bigfoot look and looked at him and went on. All this time, you know, waiting for a bullet to crack through my butt. That was the end of it.
Good job.
I thought I'd done a pretty good job. Millions of people have been fooled all these years. If they would have paid me the $1,000 like they promised, I would have kept my mouth shut.
Of course, there's no hard evidence to prove Bob's story either. The suit hasn't turned up. What it boils down to is, was Roger Patterson incredibly lucky? Or a hoaxer of extraordinary gifts? And in the end, experts on both sides of the equation agree. You certainly can't prove Bigfoot's existence.
From this.
Interesting. Am I still connected?
Yeah, you're still connected. We're going back to the other screen. So I've always found that interesting because his walk is pretty solid. Not that you couldn't replicate it. It's pretty spot on. He was friends with them, and that's been proven that he knew them and used to ride with them. You know, I mean,
the only thing they said, the suit has never been found, and it's, you know, but I will say,
but the suit maker, I think there was a guy somewhere that came forward talking about that he was the guy that made the suit or something. You can look that up online too. Some article.
I will say that when you brighten up the Patterson footage, there's definitely a very a hard shine to Bigfoot, you know what I mean, to the fur.
Yeah.
And most animals' fur, it don't reflect like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it feels like it's synthetically created.
Correct. You know, it doesn't feel realistic. Now, that's not to say horse mane and hair doesn't reflect. That it does, because someone's going to call me out on that. But bear fur doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen all those wildlife photographers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're not seeing their fur, shine like that. You know what I mean? And when you watch that Patterson, that was the one thing I noticed in this rewatch that I don't know, I wasn't really thinking of at the time. That I'm like, yeah, that there's a lot of shine going on to that fur that I mean, it was definitely a bright day. So that's not to say, and they're filming with a 1960s camera. So it's not to say that it's not
16 millimeter. Yeah.
16 millimeter. So it is the one that, it's the one that I still sort of hold on to as there's a possibility, but it seems like it has been debunked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look, like the narrator said, obviously it's not conclusive, because Patterson's dead. And when this documentary was made, Gimlin was not speaking. I'm sure he's probably dead now. And this guy, Bob, is probably dead now too. He looked like he was in his, 70s, almost 20 years ago. So, they're probably all dead now. But the guy's got the walk down. Not that in and of itself means anything, but he's got the walk down. He was friends with them. That was, proven. He used to ride with them. They knew that. People knew that. That's been verified. So it's like, well, maybe they did. Maybe Patterson did say, hey, Bob, I'll give you $1,000 if you can, do this for me. You're a big guy. I just need somebody to go off and do that. And he was young, 26, and was like, yeah, okay. but they never paid him, like they said. So maybe he's like, fuck you then, you know, and I don't know.
Yeah, and there's something about that walk and the way he's walking I do agree with, because look, love Nick, I love
103178 production says Gimlin is still alive. Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Love James Jude Courtney's portrayal of Michael Myers, but we all know if it was Nick Castle all along, he's got that walk, you know what I mean? And we know that walk. It's a signature walk. It's the way he walks from the Wallace house to the Doyle house. There's a glide to his walk when, you know, that I'm not saying that James Jude Courtney hasn't, you know, captured that essence when he's played Michael in these last couple of films. He's the closest for certain, although there are moments Dick Warlock sort of captures that same essence too, that Nick, you know, gave us in the original film. But when this dude does it,
yeah,
it just seems organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's trying. It seems like he's got that natural glide of a walk like we see in the Patterson video. But I'm still holding on.
Yeah.
It just seems organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I do. And I tend to agree. I think there's just some sort of, I don't know. But I mean, do we know for sure? No, we don't know for sure. I just think if it really was real, I think that we would have found something that goes beyond footprints and a couple of hair samples or something. But does that mean there isn't a species out in the, you know, in the wilderness that we have not discovered? And no, it doesn't mean that. I mean, there could be something out there, but a lot of these tales too come from folklore, you know, and a lot of these ancient civilizations, or even, you know, when you go over to Nepal and you know, where the abominable snowman is and the Yeti and stuff. I mean, a lot of it is folklore and tales, yeah, and that have been passed down by generation to generation to generation. And it could be based on something that was real once long ago, like Gigantopithecus or whatever the name is. But it isn't real now. It's just sort of tales. And I want to believe, I think it would be amazing if there was actually, well, amazing and scary at the same time, if there really was such a thing as a Bigfoot out there. But you know, my adult logical side of my brain kind of says, well, if there was, don't you think we would have found a body? I mean, you know, would we not find, yeah, like how can they be so, like, we haven't found a body, we haven't found anything, like nothing.
Yeah,
and every video is shaky.
It's the catch-22 of what we said at the beginning of the stream. There's the, like you said, there's the fact that you don't want to live in a world where it's not been proven, right? You don't want to live, you know what I mean? You want to have the truth out there, but there's the side of it that I'm like, you lose a little bit of that innocence to us as a society, that, you know, our imaginations are not thinking like that anymore. Like maybe, you know, and it's not even just almost like even folklores, you know, when Grimm's fairy tale, all that stuff, when, you know, when that shit was first, you know, written and they were reading it back in the day, people thought, you know what I mean? People thought some of that shit was real. They, you know what I mean? Kids, you know, young kids. I mean, there was a time, you got to watch some of the old, you know, when J.M. Barrie wrote Peter Pan. I mean, you know, kids back in the day, you know, I mean, literally back in the day thought like Neverland was a legitimate place. You know what I mean? But again, you know, it's, you're talking, when he wrote that, you're talking what, 1930s, some shit or whatever, whenever he wrote the novel. You know, same thing when Frank Baum wrote Wizard of Oz. You know, all these imaginative things sort of come from some type of inspiration, but certainly opened your mind up, you know, into believing that there's the possibility of these magical places, into you, obviously, as you evolve as a society, and realize that none of that shit is true. There's a bit of that innocence that we lose to who we once were.
Agreed. It's not to deviate to Stranger Things, but it is one of the reasons why I think that although I think every season including season 2, which is sort of the one that people like the least generally. I know you're a big fan of season 2, but it's one of the reasons why I've often said that Stranger Things season 1, although season 4 was great and season 3 was great, and you know, I like season 2. The naivety and the innocence of childhood and that imagination was captured so well in that first season because they were really kids. They were, you know, that real innocent, you know, they weren't thinking about, not that they weren't at all, but, you know, girls and the sort of the teen angst of teenagehood had not yet become a reality. And there's something really sweet and special and innocent and magical about that first season and the first season story that doesn't mean that, you know, season 2, 3, and 4 are not great. They are. They're fucking amazing. And season 5, I'm sure, will be great too. But there is just a little ingredient that is no longer there because the kids are older now. You know, they're like on the cusp of 90210 age. So you do kind of lose that naivety, that innocence. And the same thing is here, you know, as we advance technologically and, you know,
it's unfortunate that kids can't experience what we experienced as kids. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be very hard pressed to get a kid like who's in 4th and 5th grade, like when we were in the 80s, you know, and stumble across the Bigfoot books and novels and do a book report on and think that it's real, or same thing with Loch Ness. Because there's too much information out there that debunks it. You know what I mean? That proves that it, you know, doesn't exist. And it's unfortunate that they don't get that experience. Because, you know, like I said, we came in at the right time because the technology and all of this was evolving, leading to that point. And it's going to make me wonder what kids are going to have, you know, when they, you know, as, you know, we continue, you know, future generations from now, what kind of imaginations are they going to have? You know what I mean? I'm not saying kids should, you know, live in a world of fairy tales and stuff, but there's something to the creative side to that. I firmly believe. I firmly believe where my creative instincts and skills came from, whether it's through DJing music or creating a photo, is because of our upbringing, that we still had a bit of that, you know, thinking, you know, with our imagination. I mean, how many times, dude, with your friends, I can't even count how many times with my friends when I'm talking like in that 4th, 5th grade years, you know, where we would get to go out into the woods and we would just create our own worlds of whatever and just play, you know what I mean? And just use our imaginations, use sticks for guns, you know what I mean?
For sure.
All that craziness, you know, we were using our imagination. And I'm not saying kids need to use sticks for guns, but the point is that, you know, future generations from now, I wonder where creativity is going to be, because yes, we are evolving with creativity in some aspects, but we're losing the imagination part of it. You know, like what Disney created. Walt Disney, the man, you know, and what he created through his imagination in the world he created, the cartoons he created, what I personally believe what it once stood for, not what it stands for now. That shit's long gone. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but
I agree, you know, but you know, everybody's nostalgia, or it's all relative, right? You know, what's funny to think is that, you know, kids that were born, let's say in 2005, so that would make you 17 right now, you know, 2022 and 21 and 20, you know, your teenage years, so the late 2010s and the early 2020s will be very retro and nostalgic for you in another 20 years. And, you know, for us, there is no, I don't have a sense of, like the 2010s don't have a feeling to me. You know, the 2020s don't have a feeling to me yet. The 2000s don't really have a feeling to me, but the 90s do and the 80s do. And why is that? Well, because I was a kid in the 80s and I was a teenager in the 90s, and everybody has that. I wonder,
do you think they'll look back the same way we did?
Yes, but it's different. Oh yes, but it's not, but they're not looking at the same things, right? So teenagers today are experiencing their own their own, because they don't know any different, right? So it's like how our parents look at the 50s and the 60s. Well, we don't look at the 50s and the 60s necessarily the same way. We can live vicariously through them because maybe they've taught us, and they've, like, you know, your parents and my parents, my dad helped me to appreciate oldies music and Elvis Presley and all that kind of stuff. But not every kid our age had that. But we couldn't appreciate the 50s. Like, we don't look back on the 50s and the 60s the same way that our parents did. Sure. Right. So it's like us. We look back on the 90s and the 80s as, the good old days. Well, somebody who's 17 right now, in another 25 years, is going to be looking back at 2022 going, the good old days, 2022. It sounds funny to us.
I don't know about that.
No, it's true. I'm telling you, I'd put money on it. And I'd put money on it because it's all relative, and everybody's experiencing the time period differently. If you're 17 right now, you're going through, and you don't have the frame of reference. So you grew up in the digital age. You don't know any different. You don't know what it's like not to have it. So for you,
that's true.
Yeah. So for you, this is normal. This is just the way it's always been. So TikTok and Instagram and all that.
I was about to say that their nostalgia, wherever we're going to evolve social media wise, which I'm sure we will, nostalgia for them will be those apps that you just said, the TikToks, the Instagram. Remember Instagram? Remember Facebook? Because who the hell knows what they're going to create, as you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that's probably what their nostalgia is going to be, is whatever because you're right. Yeah, because they grew. We know what life was like with and without social media. We're both. We come from analog to digital, so we know what that life is like. And we keep part of that as I do with the vinyl records. That's right. I do keep part of analog, that's right. With film.
100%. No, 100%. You're bang on. We know what we're missing because we grew up when there was no internet. You know what I mean? Yeah. There was no social media and all that kind of stuff. So kids today, whatever is coming, and as we always say, technology expands exponentially. So that just simply means that we are achieving greater and greater tech and moving faster at a shorter time.
Bonkers what generations from now are going to have.
Right. But 20 years from now, let's say we're all virtual, right? Let's just hypothetically say it's virtual reality now. Like it's commonplace. I know that exists right now, but I'm saying like it's commonplace. Well, you're going to have kids in 20 years, we'll be in our 60s. So you're going to have people in their late 30s and 40s in 20 years who will be looking back at this time going, remember TikTok, man? Remember when you just could be on your phone? I mean, it's all relative. That is literally what it's going to be. Their retro, their nostalgia is just different. And they're going to look at the 80s like how we look at the 50s, or the 60s. I mean, maybe they have a parent that is helping them to appreciate the 80s right now, but they didn't live it. They didn't feel it. So they don't, I mean, Stranger Things fans, I would imagine, is a large demographic. But for people like us who, if you're in your late 30s, it hits different because we actually can literally personally relate to all of the 80s references. And so we live that.
We lived it. Yeah.
We wore our socks up to our kneecaps. We
sure did. Or one was up, one was down.
Right. We had the BMX bikes. We did all that. So, but if you didn't, you watch it and you think that's kind of cool, but you're probably you get more out of the science fiction and horror stuff out of it. It's just a cool story, with a cool show, but the setting of the time period is probably neither here nor there for you at the end of the day, unless you have a real appreciation for it, on some level. Your parents grew up in the 80s or you grew up in the 80s or, whatever the case is. But yeah, everybody's retro, everybody's nostalgia is relative. So yeah, as hard as it is to believe, in another 25 years, somebody will be looking back at 2022 going, the good old days. Crazy, it's true. Right? It's true. It's crazy, but it's true. It's totally true.
Let's get to those super chats.
Let's go over to the super chats.
Came through.
A few did. So let me go and get those now. Supers. There they are. Thought they weren't going to show up for a minute. All right, first one comes in from Red Spader, maybe. I don't know how you're trying to hook that last part in there. Anyway, sends in $10. Thank you very much, and says, "Hey there, Dave. Love your content. Love your vibe." Oh, well, thank you very much, and thanks for streaming so often. Let's go find Bigfoot. Well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've been streaming quite a bit this month. We are still on the hunt. The question is, do you think that we have solved Bigfoot today? I don't know. Movie Chat and More Part 2 sends in £2 and says, Sean Clark has one in his attic. Just kidding. Does he have but I know he's got a lot of crazy stuff up in his home. Maybe he has a Bigfoot
I wouldn't be shocked. That
or
dude's
something.
home is a museum.
It's insane. It's insane. You never know with him.
Nuts. I know.
Howard sends in $5, says, look up Phantom of the Opera 1989 VHS cover. It's Robert Englund as Freddy all over again. Same burnt makeup. Robert did a good job as the Phantom. Yeah, I know the cover you're talking about. I'd have to go and have a look on it, a look at it to refresh my memory. I haven't seen the movie, but I know he did play the Phantom. Yeah, have you seen that movie, Tony?
I've seen I remember vividly, the cover. I remember seeing it in the horror section and always going, man, that looks like Freddy. And then picking up going, oh, it is Freddy. But, playing. I've never seen, I like Phantom of the Opera, the musical is probably one of my favorite musicals of all time. I've seen that on Broadway, like before moving to the South. I don't even know how many times, man. That seemed to be my signature move to take a date every year on Valentine's Day to Broadway to go see Phantom of the Opera. Literally there was like 6 years in a row where I went. Yeah, it's just, it's a great musical. Andrew Lloyd Webber. The original Phantom, Lon Chaney, is probably to me the best face makeup ever in cinema. We've never come. You've all seen it. It's iconic. We've never, even with practical makeup, come close to anything like that in the sense of scare. You know what I mean? It just, as far as like, especially in the story of Phantom, just God, that makeup. But I think if I remember, that's a silent film. Yeah, I mean, I'd never seen the Robert Englund one, and maybe one day we'll watch it.
Yeah, maybe we will. I've never seen it either. I've never seen the play, but
you've never seen the musical?
No, I've never seen the musical, but I hear it's great.
You should take your girl to that. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a good Valentine's
Day
if it's around.
I should. Sure. Yeah, it does. It comes through Toronto every now and then. So
the tour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. Am I saying this right? Judaism, I think I'm saying that correctly, sends in $1.99, says, same thing I always say on these. Same thing I always say on these. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, but I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. Jeff Moore sends in $2 and says, where were you on 9/11/2001? Ooh, good question. I had left college already. I had left film school to pursue my career from a bit of a different angle. And I was actually back in Welland, Ontario, Canada, which is where my college, which is where I went to college, and at Niagara College. And I was visiting some friends. And we were out for breakfast. And when I got up to pay, I looked at the television over the kind of the bar area, and I noticed I saw one of the towers there, that it was, with a big hole in it with smoke coming out of it. And it was probably CNN and, plane hits tower, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty intense. But you don't, it's just, it's like, wow, that's crazy. The second plane, I don't think it hit yet. And then I remember, I think in between leaving the restaurant, getting into the car and driving, we turned on the radio, and I think it was Howard Stern that was on, and he had mentioned that the Pentagon had now been hit. And when that happened, I remember thinking, oh, there's something weird going on here. And of course, went back to my friend's place, and we popped on the television, and we just watched it all afternoon. And I actually watched both towers fall live. I remember that, which was a very surreal, eerie Godzilla Hollywood movie moment. It didn't even seem real. It was so kind of strange. But that's where I was. I was visiting some friends in college when the whole thing, or from college when the whole thing went down. What about you, Tony?
Slept. I was knocked out. I had worked a club gig.
That's right. I remember you saying this.
We'd done an on-air show the night before a Monday. Back in old Atlanta days, especially with our station and me doing the mix shows, there was literally a club for every night of the week to be at. You had a Sunday night club, you had a Monday night club, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's just the way it was structured. It wasn't just the weekends, because like the Monday night crowd and Wednesday night crowd was really geared towards the college kids and shit. And because 9/11 happened on a Tuesday.
Right, it did.
I was dead to the fucking world, had no fucking clue, because I got in, I don't know, like 4 or 5 in the morning. After, because usually after the club, we would go to the Waffle House afterwards and just hang out for a few hours and shoot shit or whatever and try to pick up more girls. I was 21 years old, or 22, whatever. So I was a young lad.
Yep,
and,
young lad. We were 22, yeah.
I remember my mom blowing up the phone, frantically calling me because she was working, and I kind of answered the phone in that grumpy, what the fuck you want? I'm trying to sleep. She's like, you need to turn on the television. I'm like, what? She's like, the towers have been attacked. And I still remember her telling me, but I don't remember processing it. I couldn't comprehend what she was just telling me because it didn't seem real. Till obviously I went to the television and then called the radio station and went down to help them out, because we literally went from being top 40 hip hop and R&B to basically Sarah McLachlan's Angel and totally just chill, low key. And we were doing that type of music. We stopped all club gigs for several weeks, no live broadcast or anything like that. And we were just totally just straight mellow, to a point where I remember about a week and a half, I went to our program director and music director. I was like, dude, we've got to fucking change this tempo here, because I'm gonna freaking go nuts, because it was depressing. You know what I mean? But I understand it was just that time. And that moment changed our world. You and I had never, the only thing you and I came close to experiencing something like that was the Gulf War.
Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh yeah, that's true. The Oklahoma City bombing. Columbine, but the 9/11
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? Where multiple locations were being targeted and shit. We had never, you and I had never really experienced anything like that, especially this close to home. You know what I mean?
That's right. No, I'd say the biggest thing prior to that would probably have been probably the Gulf War. The first one. Desert
but that
Storm.
was there. You know what I mean? Way over there. This wasn't on our North America soil. So this all of a sudden was just wait, what? You know what I mean? I just remember just turning on the TV, just what the fuck?
It's crazy.
Totally could not comprehend it. But as it was unfolding, I was out cold. I had no, and I always remember there's the moment of what life was like that night at the club with the radio station, having a great time. Everything was normal, and how the world just flipped in just a few hours. I mean, literally a few hours.
It's crazy.
Flipped.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, 100%.
I do wish we could go back a little bit to pre 9/11 too, because I do think a lot of where we are today is the domino effect because of that day.
Could be.
Had that day not happened, I'm not saying we would be in the world we're in right now, technology wise, we would be, but as far as culture wise, I don't know if we would be as sensitive as we are today. And
I was just going to say, I'd love to go back if for no other reason than just, people are
to be
less
a dick
triggered
for an afternoon and not piss people off.
And people can learn to read between the lines again, and put nuance and take jokes.
I totally missed that, because since then it's just, from 9/11 to now, it's, you know,
like I mean, there are people out there that actually make a living being offended. Like they are professional.
Yeah.
They are professional. I don't know what you would call them, but there are people that are professionally offended.
Bro, we are, you know, if anyone was considered to be a prophet, that, you know, I would consider Sylvester Stallone right up there, because Demolition Man is pretty prophetic in the sense that, like, we are heading towards that society, that culture, that you're going to have shit in your home where you're going to get fucking dinged a credit because you said the wrong thing. We're getting there. We're getting there. And it's really a specific group of people that's leading us in that direction. And it's like,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Doug Dial sends in $5. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. Ethan sends in $5. Says, I mailed my Dawn Post mask to William Shatner private signing for $350, and he actually signed it and sent it back. It's on the way to me. Really? Wow. Well, that's was it a specific thing? Like it was mail your mask here and we'll, you know, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. I hope you didn't get gypped, or I hope it's a real thing. That's pretty cool though. If it's legit. Thank you, Ethan. Jack Ellis sends in $1.99, says Bigfoot and DB kicking it in Oregon. DB, you mean DB, the guy that jumped out of the plane, or the guy that went missing off the plane? Is that who you mean? What do you mean by DB? DB. Do you know who he means by DB?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure. What's the guy that jumped out of the plane? Or they assumed he must have jumped out of the plane? I think that's who you're talking about. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's something completely obvious and I'm just having a brain fart. It could be just obvious that I'm having a massive brain fart. Okay, let me get these here. Jeff Moore sends in another $2, says, have you seen Brokeback Mountain? I actually have not seen Brokeback Mountain. I hear it's actually really good, though, with great performances.
Haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it? No.
I don't really do, and it's not because of what the story's about. I don't really do love stories, to be honest. Like, other than the only one I ever really enjoyed, which I've talked about, is Titanic. That was more geared towards the ship.
Right.
That Cameron just happened to, you know, write in the Jack and Rose love story as the anchor to the movie. I can't get the unappropriate term chick flicks, but whatever.
No, I get it.
I can't get into it. Like,
hey,
The Notebook was okay. I remember I did watch that with an ex, and I was like, that's cool. I do love me some Rachel McAdams. Man. I can take that anytime with her.
Canadian girl. You like the Canadian girls, Nev, Rachel.
Yeah, man, you growing well up there for sure. That's
we do.
You definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to think of I don't see it being on one of those, unless you happen to say, let's do it, you know, let's watch it on here. That would be the only reason why I would.
I just never got around to it, and it has nothing to do with two guys. I just never got around to it.
I can't do love stories, man.
I get you.
I'm like,
Mentalect sends in $10. Thank you, Mentalect, and says, Dave, what happened to your Halloween fan film? I'm assuming you mean Halloween the Night He Came Back. I had to essentially remove it because it was all out of sync. And I don't know why. Somebody had tipped me off about 6 or 7 months ago, I think. I was like, Dave, just want to let you know that this whole thing is out of sync, which is too bad because it had like 500,000 views or something like that. But do it again. Yeah, upload it again. Yeah, if it was
redo it, just redo it.
Just redo the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, fans would love that. Do a Halloween fandom. But I have no interest. But so I didn't want it on there out of sync. And I don't mean it's just like a little bit out of sync. You know, I mean it's like 30 seconds out of sync. So it's just not watchable. So that's why I removed it. Let's see.
Do you know? I just realized fucking something. Yeah. Like, this is how like out of touch of like movies and television shit that's going on because I've been busy with work, which no complaints. And two, I've been really focusing on the music and stuff. Cobra Kai comes out in like 3 weeks. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
no, it's insane. It's insane.
Someone was like, messaged me, did you see the trailer? I'm like, what? There's a what? Like, I'm so out of touch with the world right now. Like,
how long can they keep this going? Like, I mean, the trailer looks epic, but
well, they've said they're at the tail end. I think there's one more season after that, and they're done. Because even Machio and Zapka said the same thing. They're like, they know they're reaching the end with this. So yeah, they're probably gonna get 2 more out of it, and they're done. But then someone posted a video about the Halloween full trailer dropping soon. I'm like, wait, what? And then I saw the date, and I'm like, oh yeah, well it is August 20th. So yeah, it's got to be coming soon because we're in the 2 months threshold here.
Yeah, it'll probably come. It's not going to come in August. It's not coming in between now and September 1st.
It should come out the day before.
Yeah, no,
that would be so fucking awesome though.
It'll probably come.
Piss everyone else off though, but I'd be laughing.
It's likely to come in September at some point. But yeah, I will investigate.
Yeah, I know it's coming soon, and I'm like, wait, it's like, didn't we just get the teaser? But then like I was looking at the date when I saw something, I'm like, well, yeah, that would make sense. It's August 20th, and it comes out on the 14th, right, of October.
Mm-hmm.
So we're past now. We're in that 2 months, so it would make sense that I'm like, damn. Like,
well, it's coming soon.
No, I know. I'm just saying. For me, I've been so busy with stuff. Like the time is going by like super fast. That like Cobra Kai's new season is coming out in just a couple weeks. And I'm like, wait, what? Like,
I know it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think with Cobra Kai, you know, because now they brought Barnes in. We all know it because Sean Kanan's been like all over his social media about like it's the greatest thing ever. So there's no surprise that Barnes is back. We're done. I mean, we've got all the unless they bring what's her name, Julie from Part 4, Hillary Swank,
right?
There's nobody else they can. So
is that connective? Is that canonical?
It's connected to the Miyagi verse that they've created here. But what I was kind of say with regards to the series that they've got enough for this one, and then wherever this one ends off, I think one more. And that's it. I think if they go like 7, 8, like, no, you're pushing it, bro.
Yeah.
Go out on a high note.
So it comes out in 3 weeks?
Yeah. Like
Incredible.
Beginning of September 9th. That's 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, barely. Yep. Ethan, $5 says, how much have you spent on Halloween merch like masks, DVDs, clothes, over 10,000 in your lifetime? How much have you spent on Halloween stuff?
First of all, you got to remember, Dave is a multi-billionaire.
Oh yes, I'm a multi-billionaire.
And he's probably
I'm a billionaire.
Purchased easily.
I have billions and billions of dollars. It's what I do.
Dave
I'm a
has
multi-billionaire.
666 million.
No, I'm worth 667.
No, the merchandise you purchased you're missing it. Yes. You purchased 666 million.
I have.
666.
I have. Yes, I got you.
That's how much you've purchased.
I would say no over the years. I mean, yeah, it's several thousand for sure, but it's not like. I mean, it could be upwards like in my entire life. Blu-rays, DVDs, T-shirts, masks. Yeah, it could be. I don't know if it's quite 10,000,
especially when you count the masks.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's like $400 or $500 right there.
I don't know if it's 10,000, but I would say it's probably a few $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have much stuff left. Like when I was doing the photos, I've got this mask, and then I got my I call it. I'll do those videos when it gets cool, or not right now because we've been too freaking. Satan's been freaking teabagging us here in freaking Georgia with this heat.
Yeah, it's hot here too. It's crazy.
So, but I have that other one that like when it gets cooler out, I'll do a quick routine exercising with the mic, not with that Michael mask on, but it's been beat up a little bit. And I dropped about $375 on that one. I know I spent $500 on that one, close to $500.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna spend anywhere between like $300 and $500.
Yeah.
On average for an independently made Michael Myers mask from one of the people that make them.
Dude,
and
I don't have a lot of. I don't even have the T-shirt. I didn't tell you that. Like all those like 300 plus horror T-shirts gone.
Wow. Yeah, I was just gonna say I haven't seen you wear them in a while.
Donated them to.
You had a lot of them.
I did. Just got Yeah,
I get you. I get you.
Kind of like whatever. It was fun wearing them while I did, but I was like, somebody else can get, more use out of it. So I'm basically anything you see back here, and then my vinyl, the soundtracks.
Gotcha.
That I will never get rid of. I will be buried with that shit.
Yes. Thank you, Veronica and Steve and Jay Beach. Yes, DB Cooper. That's who I was trying to think of. I don't know if that's who he was referring to, but Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's is good. We have a couple of them up here in Canada.
Yeah, same. We got one nearby us too. Yeah. It's all right.
It's fun. Frank, my man, Frank Riker says, I see Dave and Tony have been showing my home movies as today's topic. Frank, we love you. Yes, Frank. We did. That was you actually that was in the gorilla
dressed
outfit.
As Bigfoot. That's right. It. Frank was dressed as
Frank
Bigfoot.
Gets around, man. Frank gets around.
Yes.
Let me see here. Akeem Patterson. Speaking of Patterson, Akeem Patterson sends in $4.99, says, have you seen Orphan First Kill? I have not. Have you, Tony? It just came out. I think it's a prequel to the original Orphan that was out a few years back.
I've never even seen Orphan. So
yeah, no, I think I saw it. No, I haven't seen it, Akeem, or we haven't seen it. So have you seen it, though? Let us know what you think.
No, but Top Gun Maverick comes out tomorrow.
It does. Ethan sends in another $2, says, Blumhouse failed Firestarter and Black Christmas. Well, I have not seen Firestarter. I've heard that it's not very good.
I haven't seen either Black Christmas or Firestarter.
Yeah.
I've only heard the Black Christmas story through you.
Yeah. Well, I would agree that they definitely failed Black Christmas. And Blumhouse, it's never too late. My phone is on. I'm available. I'd be willing to...
Wink, nod.
I'd be willing to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
A little bit of, change. Money, small investment, nothing serious. Could do it for like probably 250,000. No, 300,000.
More than that.
Do it for like the Halloween budget.
No, you'd want at least probably like $5 million at least, and that's what they specialize in. They specialize in low budget movies like that. Yeah. Let's see here. Helen Park. Hello, Helen Park. It says, Dave and Tony, thoughts on many people around the world comparing the villain from The Boys Homelander to other villains like Joker or even Darth Vader as one of the best villains on television. I think we've been asked this question before, and I don't know if it was you that asked this, Helen, but I have never seen The Boys, so I have no idea who Homelander is.
What's The Boys? What is
it? It's a television show is it on Prime or Hulu or something? And I guess there's a villain from that show called Homelander, but I've never seen an episode of The Boys. I've never heard of this person called
you. I don't even know what the hell it is.
Yeah, so Helen.
No, but you know what I am
my
watching
apologies.
for the very
I don't
first
know.
time? I am watching for the very first time because it's on Pluto for free. Now, I've seen it. I've seen episodes, so I shouldn't say for the very, but I'm watching it from start to finish. And this very first time is your show, Three's Company. Come and knock on our door.
Three's Company is great. It's so cheesy.
We've been waiting for you.
You're watching it, are you?
Oh yeah, well, I've seen episodes. It's not like I've never not seen episodes.
Of course,
but I've never watched from like the pilot to the ending.
Yes.
Man, I'm in season 2 right now. Fucking John Ritter's fucking physical comedy is
he's great.
His timing, he was very, for the time in the late 70s. Yes. Very Buster Keaton, very
Jerry Lewis.
Chaplin, with that physical comedy.
Yeah, Jerry Lewis for sure.
Yes, they had a little bit of Jerry Lewis in him. Fucking, I don't know. I mean,
you know what you're gonna notice?
I know Suzanne Summers was the thing, but I gotta tell you, I like me some Joyce duet.
Here's the thing. I just want to say this. You're gonna notice this. What? It's okay. So Suzanne Summers, who plays Chrissy Snow, in the first season, which is only 6 episodes, and then there's the second season.
Yeah.
In the second, okay, so you notice this. In the first and second season, and the third season too, but really the second season. What I love about how she played Chrissy in those first couple of seasons is that she was, yes, quote unquote, she was the dumb blonde, quote unquote, but she played it like she wasn't.
She played it very naive and innocent.
Yes, she wasn't dumb. She wasn't it. You never got like, I mean, like really dumb. Like you got the impression that she had the IQ of like 6. I mean, she was naive. She was innocent,
Right.
and she would say silly things. It was kind of sweet, and it was, yeah, she was quote unquote the dumb, of the show, but it wasn't, dude. By the time you get to season 4, she is a caricature of herself. She's a clown. Like
Really?
you would not. Oh, it's painful. Like I mean, you watch it and it works, but compared to where she was in season 4, it's like she's this. Like you would not leave her alone because she would burn down the house. I mean, that is literally like she comes across as so dumb and she's so stupid. And I don't know if that was a Suzanne Summers thing or if that was a note from the network or the director that you got to take it this far. But I much prefer Chrissy in the season you're on now.
Yeah, because it's
you
great.
will notice.
I mean, and again, I know Suzanne Summers was the it girl back, but I gotta tell you, man, Joyce DeWitt was fire.
Well, wait till you get to see. Well, I have a thing
fire.
for
Like I
brunettes.
love that short brunette hair.
Wait till you get to season 4. Season 4 is where she and then when Suzanne Summers left because she went on, she wanted to be paid what John Ritter was getting paid, and that just wasn't happening. And then she left. She was only in 1 or 2 episodes of season 5, and then she left. Wait till you get to season 4 though, and what Joyce DeWitt looks like then. They really started to shape her more sexually as opposed to just Suzanne.
She's
anyway.
hot. I mean, she's like
Yeah, they were
I've
all-
heard
they
the
were.
stories, like I said, I've heard all the stories about how Suzanne Summers was the it girl, and I'm just like, man, don't sleep on Joyce DeWitt.
A lot of
now,
people have
'cause,
said that,
like,
and I agree.
whoa.
I agree.
She just was, that like I said, that short.
Yeah.
I do. If a girl can pull off the short hair look, that is probably my biggest attraction to a woman.
I got you.
And so, like a woman like Joyce DeWitt,
Yeah.
totally can fucking pull it off.
No, she was great. She was great. I think too, because Suzanne was playing, like, there's always that thing too, whereas you can be, on the looks scale, you can be like a 10 out of 10 if you want, but as soon as you open your mouth, you can drop to like a 5. And I think that because of the character that Suzanne was playing, yeah, of course she's very attractive. Of course she is. She's beautiful. But because of the character she's playing, you always kind of, at least for me, and I do have a thing for brunettes. My lady is a brunette. So I always gravitated towards kind of Joyce and Janet, but it really is because also too, she's just being like she's not being dumb, so you really, whereas Suzanne, it's like, I could never be with someone like that, the character she's playing, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I could be wrong on reading this, but there's no way that the network people, if I were alive back then and old enough to talk to them, that they are not going to not convince me that the Ropers, because the vibes they give, but it's in reverse. There's a bit of Archie and Edith, from all the family,
For sure
but reversed, where
Yep.
Mrs. Roper is more the Archie type character, and Mr. Roper's more the Edith type character. You know what I mean? Because there's no way. Because in watching their dynamics, because I think the episodes that I remember watching before committing to watching this on Pluto, because it's for free, I've seen only the ones with Furley, Don Knotts, which is great, but that's my memory of Three's Company. So watching this now with I don't remember the actors and actress's name who played the Ropers.
Norman Fell and Audra Lindley.
Yeah, they're great. I love their
are.
dynamic.
They are.
But like
They
I
are.
said, I'm getting an Archie Edith vibe, but in reverse. And I got a feeling they were inspired by that.
Well, of course they were. And when after season 3 is when the Ropers left, and they left because they were such a hit on Three's Company that the network wanted to give them their own show, which they did. And Norman Fell, who plays Stanley didn't want to leave. He didn't want to do it at all. He thought that they worked better as sort of the support, and he didn't want his own show. Audra Lindley, who plays Helen, was more for it, and she wanted to do it. And
Such a gamble.
It was a gamble. And what happened is that Norman said, well, if it's not a success, can we come back? And they said, okay, if it's not a success, if you only do one season and we have to cancel it, then you can come back to the show. But they did 2 seasons. And there's only 2 seasons of The Ropers. It was good enough to do 2 seasons. And he wanted to come back afterwards, but they're like, no, the deal was after only 1 season. You did 2 seasons. It's unfortunate, but I mean, Don Knotts, Ralph Furley. It's like
his physical comedic timing with what I remember with John Ritter is fucking great.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it was amazing. And they did such a good job. Even when they replaced Suzanne Summers. Now, they first replaced her, excuse me.
3 of them?
There were 3. They first replaced her with, I forget her name now, but she played Cindy. And then they replaced with Terry, and Cindy just wasn't really working out.
Terry, I remember.
Yeah, that. Terry's was the nurse, but anyway, but I mean, to have a show, but it's because Suzanne Summers, I think, mistakenly thought that she was the draw and she was the star. I think the network, because she was the sex, you know what I mean? She was the sex appeal. They felt that people were tuning in because of her, and it's like, well, yes, maybe, but John Ritter is clearly the anchor. He's clearly the star, and the reason why that show was able to succeed another 4 seasons without her is because of John Ritter. Really, at the end of the day, because of his physical comedy and his anchor and whatnot. I mean, it was crazy, but yeah, Three's Company is great. It's a guilty pleasure of mine.
It really is.
I mean, it's dated obviously now, but it's the original. It's a farce show. It's so silly. It's full of misunderstandings and. It's great. I adore it. It may be dated,
but it's just another win for when you really sit there and
there's shit on there you couldn't say or do now.
No, but as far as like when I think of network television shows, God, the 70s are so tough to beat because there's so many fucking legendary shows with All in the Family, Three's Company,
oh yeah,
MASH, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I see your super chat, Oliver. I am going to get to it.
Good Times, Jeffersons, 80s, obviously there's a lot there, but man, the 70s really were the staple of really, the network television. And, back then, you only had your 3 networks and then maybe your 4th local network. So when people were tuning in, pretty much the entire country was tuning in to watch you guys. And,
it's true.
They were on at, if a show like Three's Company today came out, it probably would get lost in the shuffle. So the timing of that show works.
Well, and you couldn't even do the shit anymore. I mean,
no, and Jack is the character's name, right? He probably would be gay. They wouldn't pretend it. They would. They would.
Well, yes, of course, and because I mean, Stanley essentially was homophobic. I mean, really, that's
more or less.
That's the joke,
you're
right? That's the
especially
joke.
like when he's doing all the hand gestures,
right, and even Ralph.
Oh, you could not do that today.
And even Ralph Furley, same thing. I mean, it's a different time, but listen, I'm 43 years old, man. I still laugh at it, okay? And I'm not gonna. I mean, it's still, there's lots of things I mean, Jesus, you got Dan Aykroyd in blackface at the end of Trading Places, playing opposite Eddie Murphy. And there's a lot of shit that we grow up with that we still find really fun. And I get it. Maybe it's probably because I grew up with it that I can still watch it and not be offended. But I recognize that it's a different world today, and there are a lot of things that you could not do. And yeah, even in shows as recent as like The King of Queens, things like that. It's just not that
2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, there's still
Passion, you know what I mean? There's shit that they couldn't do now with that show.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Oliver Mercer sends in £5. Sorry for the delay, Oliver. Says, hey, D&T, I have an idea in writing up a few creepy found footage. I have an idea in writing up a few creepy found footage scripts about Loch Ness and Bigfoot. I feel it'll work well. Well, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. We wish you the best of luck. Bigfoot and Loch Ness? Do Bigfoot and Loch Ness like meet each other? Is it like a versus movie?
Probably.
That'd be awesome. That's a versus movie I would watch because you can't take that seriously. So I would just sit and enjoy the absurdity.
Bigfoot versus Kong.
Yeah, Bigfoot versus Kong.
Did I hear? Is it true that they're doing a Kong versus Godzilla sequel now instead?
They are, yes. Well, they are. I don't.
Instead of what I mean by instead, meaning instead of standalones.
Yes, I believe so. I think they're shooting it right now, or they've just finished shooting or something. I think they're shooting in Australia or something.
I didn't. I thought they were doing standalones, but okay.
Well, maybe they are. I don't know. I got to brush up on what that's all about. I've always thought they've always sort of marketed it through the development and production process here as Kong versus Godzilla 2. I don't think that's going to be the title, but and apparently it has a very centric Kong sort of thing to it. I don't know. Maybe Kong's got to save the world and get Godzilla's help. Jack Ellis, $1.99 says Trading Places was hilarious. 5th favorite movie. I love Trading Places. I think it's so funny. I think it is so funny. It's one of my favorites.
One night. I don't care what the world thinks.
Oh,
we should watch it.
We watch it. We just watch.
We're not showing it.
No, we're not. We just watch it as if we would just watch the movie. I mean, it's not like when I watch that movie and it gets to that part, or any part that would be deemed a little sort of, taboo today, of course, or inappropriate. I don't sit there and acknowledge it. I just watch it and let it go through. Right. I just think it's, but in retrospect, because of the era we're in now, when you do watch movies like that, it's funny because I was watching it with my girl last Christmas or the Christmas before, because it's it's a Christmas movie, right? For all intents and purposes. And yeah, exactly. And when it got to that scene, we both were like, "Oh wow, like yeah, you couldn't do that now," And it's not like he's actually in the makeup opposite Eddie Murphy, like both. So they're just Eddie Murphy's just going with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, it's the early '80s. I mean, people did that shit on fucking Saturday. I don't know if they did, but that was you saw wildly inappropriate shit on Saturday Night Live. It was just, it's a different time, right? Different time.
In the words of good old Randy from Scream, Jamie Lee didn't show her tits till she went legit.
Oh, wasn't that in Trading Places?
She does show them. I think that's the first time she shows them.
I think you're right. Well, she plays a prostitute at that movie too.
She went legit and showed her tits.
She went legit and showed her tits. Yeah, that was in that's
right,
in
because she wanted to stop doing horror movies. That was her first kind of non-horror film.
Yeah, you're right. And she was the prostitute in that movie. That's right.
Was.
That's such a funny movie. I love.
We're gonna do it.
It's so.
We should watch that around Christmas this year.
I think we should. We should. Trading Place it up. I'll put Dan Aykroyd in the makeup on the thumbnail. No, I'm not going to do that.
I would definitely not do that.
I'm not going to do that. That would be awful. I'm not going to do that, folks. I'm not going to do that.
Dave's channel would be magically deleted.
Oh, it'd be terrible. But it's a reality. I mean, it's there. It's in the movie. And look, I completely understand. Of course it's inappropriate. I completely understand. For sure. But yeah, there's lots of things that I watch that I'm like, oh yeah, no, you couldn't. It just makes you realize how much has changed. Some things for the better, a lot of things not so much. Let's see here. Steve McCoy says, All in the Family, the Jeffersons, and Sanford and Son all had racist main characters, so none of them could be done today. It's true. It's true. Yeah. There's a lot of shit. But see, it was very much part of it was almost on a lot of sitcoms. It was played for laughs. It was a punchline. It's like Jack being gay in Three's Company. Obviously,
the only difference is with those shows, with 99.9% of the actors were just acting, while Meathead is whereas Meathead is literally a fucking meathead in real life.
Right. No, exactly. No. I totally.
Rob Reiner, dude is off his fucking tracks.
No, but I totally agree. Like it was like in Three's Company, the character of Jack wasn't actually gay, but he had to pretend to be gay so he could room with two girls, not because they were girls, but so he could room with two other people who just happened to be two girls. That's the only way the landlord would allow it, if he pretended to be excuse me, if he pretended to be gay. But at the expense of that, Ralph Furley and Stanley were always, but Helen, Stanley's wife, knows the truth. Helen knows that Jack's not gay. And Helen keeps that from Stanley. I don't know if you knew that, but Mrs. Roper,
to that part in season 2.
Mrs. Roper knows that Jack is not gay.
Did I miss it? Does she know like from the get-go?
I think she knows in either the first episode of season 1 or one of the episodes in season 1, I think.
Then I missed it.
Yeah. She knows, and she keeps it from Helen or from her husband Stanley. Diddly D. Yeah, Daisy McMillan says, didn't Robert Downey Jr. do blackface in Tropic Thunder? He did. He did, yeah. And that was only 15 years ago? 12 years ago, something like that.
Yep, he's got my favorite line in a movie that ever. Literally, it's literally my favorite line, which a lot of people nowadays did not get that memo, which is never go full R-tard.
Right, I gotcha.
That is my favorite line in a movie. I'm like, yep.
Oh yeah, a lot
of people in society that didn't get that memo.
No, and there's a lot of people that are offended by those words. And look, there's certain things I understand.
Well,
I do.
And there's other
things
truthfully,
that,
when it comes to that word, the R-tard, is that it actually.
Well, it's an actual word. It
is, and its meaning is two meanings. You either are talking about a person whose physical features, or you're talking about a situation, which is completely different.
Right.
Like in the scene that Robert Downey Jr. says the line, he's referring to the situation.
Right.
He's not referring to the individual looking like, or someone with Down syndrome or whatever. And that's what the word means. When you look up the word, it means that. It doesn't mean by someone's physical appearance. It means the situation you're talking about is like in that scene. That's what
it's tricky. I mean, it is. It's a tricky situation. There's to navigate this world we're in now and what to say and what not to say and all that kind of stuff. It can be tricky for sure. Absolutely. Chester Franklin Jr. says, I have never seen Tales of the Dark Side. Is it good? I've never heard of Tales of the Dark Side. I'm not so sure, buddy.
The only Tales I know is Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah. Tales of the Crypt. Yeah. Tales of the Crypt. I got to rewatch Creepshow again too.
The other day, and I'm just, I don't know. I saw another trailer for the Munsters, and
Oh, I haven't seen it. Have you seen the trailer, dude? Have you seen the trailer for Wednesday?
Yes, and I'm loving every aspect of it.
I
hate to say that.
Did I not tell you?
I mean,
Jenna Ortega, man.
Dude.
I'm telling you.
The only thing with the Addams Family that I like, I like the TV show, but I don't really watch it. I love the fucking 93 movie with Raul Julia.
I have something awful to admit. I've never seen the 90s Addams Family movies.
Really?
No.
Oh, I fucking love those. Those are my two go-to films, like family type films that always October. They are in the rotation every October. I love those movies. Yeah. In fact, usually Addams Family is like around like the first movie to kick off my spooky month.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go to Addams Family Values if I want to, but every year, without a doubt, I will always watch Addams Family.
Yeah.
And I'll watch the TV show The Munsters, during the month of October because it's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But the thing with The Munsters that Rob Zombie did is, and I can already see it in these trailers, is he put so much effort to capture the essence of the original show, which is there.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I would sit down with him and I said, listen, motherfucker, unless she has something over your head, you couldn't fucking go out there and find a better actress than Sherry Moon Zombie to play fucking Lily. I mean, seriously, it's like, what does this chick have over your head that you're going to cast her?
Vagina.
I'm not buying. I get, but
she has a vagina over him.
I guess. I mean, they've been together now for like 80 years. I can't believe that. I mean, maybe they are still going at it 5 nights a week, but I'm just saying, like, dude, like you put so much effort into the other thing he should have done. I think would have been the nicer touch is to do it in black and white. Go full on. If you're capturing the campiness, the silliness of what the Munsters was, go black and white, go all in, and for the love of God, just fucking hire and like, why do you stick to your fucking same group? Find some talented actors and act like the dude who's playing Grandpa. I like the Herman guy. I'm kind of on the fences on right now, but I'm just like, I from what I'm seeing from it, I'm still going to give it a chance. We'll probably watch it together, maybe as a first time, because it's going to come out on streaming on Netflix, right? I think.
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll probably have to do that. But man, bro, when I watched that fucking Wednesdays trailer, I was like, hook, line, sink, you got it. That's as close to the 93 feels that I've had with the Addams Family, because they've done shit since then that just, man, I didn't really care for. But this shit with your girl, fuck yeah.
It's my girl.
It's your girl, man. It's your girl.
No, I just simply, when we watched Scream back in January, listen, maybe others knew who Jenna Ortega was. Obviously, others did. Obviously, people had seen her in other things other than Scream. But I had never heard of the actress. I had never seen her in anything. And when you and I watched Scream 2022 for the first time, we hadn't watched it prior. You and I watched it for the first time on this channel together on an episode of Two Dudes. And I mean, obviously I had seen her in the trailers, but I had no idea who she was. So we're watching the movie, and there's something about her. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I said it, and you remember, and the audience should too. I said, this girl's going to be a star. I said, there is something about this girl. I really like this girl. I would cast this girl. And there's just something.
Certainly carving.
There's something about her.
Scream queen, modern day Scream queen. She's carving that.
For sure, I could see her venturing off and doing other things. I mean, she's very young. She's only 19, for God's sake.
Crazy, right?
So, I mean, I could totally see her venturing out of horror, and she's just there's something about her.
Good.
There's a believability. There's a believability. There's a naturalness about her performance, and I don't know what it is. I don't. But I remember I said she's gonna be, and I had no idea who she was. I had no idea what project she had coming up. I had no idea what she was currently working on. I just simply said she's gonna be a star. And then over the next few months, I find out about X. I find out about Wednesday. Now she's shooting Scream 6. This doesn't surprise me. And she's phenomenal in that trailer.
And
now,
what's her name?
I don't know what the movie's going to...
Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We don't know we don't know what the show is going to be. I mean, the show could be dog shit. Who knows? But that trailer is really good. And I think, I mean,
for me, like I said,
she's got Wednesday down like perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Addams Family TV show. I don't own it. Like I own the Munsters. I don't really watch it, but I love, like I said, the two early 90s movies, especially the first one. And when I watched this trailer, it really captured that vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That early 90s, 93 Addams Family movie. I'm like, damn. I know, people are getting on about what's his name casted as Gomez and his hair looks wonky, but let me tell you something. If what Burton has done, if you look at the original comic strips that the Addams Family where they were originally created, the guy they cast to play Gomez is pretty much spot the fuck on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's literally, and I believe that's what Burton, I feel like what Burton has done is he's basing it on a lot of that original comic strip with a bit of the 93 vibes.
He might be. He might be.
But
but it looks great. It looks like a fun show. Like I'm actually going to, I don't know if my girl has seen it.
Is it a series or is it a one movie?
It's a series. It's a series, cool. As far as I know. So, but it looks like something that like myself and my better half and I could watch together. I think she might be into it too. So I have to show her the trailer.
Better half. I call mine a thing.
A thing. No, it's definitely my better half.
It's a thing. I don't know what it is. It's a thing.
Pumpkinhead sends in $2. It says, "Hi, what's your favorite fruits and vegetables?" I would say fruits. I love banana. Fruit, banana, grapes, blueberries, strawberries, kind of pretty. Mango's not bad. Yeah. Pineapple. I mean, it's pretty kind of, normal, I guess. And vegetables, I love broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Those are some of the things I really like.
Yeah, fruits, in the cantaloupe, bananas, obviously apples, the go-to. Orange, I can't really do. The citrus just gives me heartburn. In the vegetables, carrots. I love eating carrots with hummus. That's like one of my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
snacks.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
such a good healthy snack too.
It is. It is.
Yellow squash is great.
Squash is good. Squash noodles.
Cucumbers. Squash
Like-
what?
Squash noodles. So it's
Never
like,
heard of
not squash. Sweet potato. I guess you could use squash.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the sweet potatoes are good.
Yeah. Potatoes. What would potatoes be categorized? A vegetable?
I think it's a vegetable. I think.
Yeah, because it's not a fruit, but I do like
No.
potatoes.
But a tomato's a
cucumber-
fruit.
Tomato. The only
Weird,
type of
isn't it?
tomato I like is on my pizza, or if I'm having a sauce, like an Italian sauce meal.
Gotcha.
I won't eat a tomato by itself.
I gotcha.
What else do I eat? Cucumbers, broccoli.
I'm not a big celery guy.
Celery with peanut butter. That's
That
the only
reminds
time
me.
if I'm in a mood for celery, I'll eat celery with peanut butter.
That's funny. That reminds me of when I was a little boy in the 80s. There was a girl that lived across the street from me named Lisa. She was one of my friends, and I had my next door neighbor who was a friend named Johnny. And the three of us used to, hang out and play together. And I always remember her. She also used to, this goes to show you how much I've been obsessed with Michael Myers. We used to, I'll get back to my point in a second, but she used to come over to my house. So this is like, I don't know, 86 or something. This is like 30.
Baby Dave.
This this
Not
is like
literally baby, but
no, this is like 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 36 years ago. She's come over to my house, and I had a tape recorder, and we used to play what was called Michael Myers Operation. And I would lie on my bed pretending I was like, Michael in Halloween 4 or something, right? And she was like a doctor or a nurse or something like that. And we would record it on audio. So we would have like the audio going, and I would eventually I would rise up and I would strangle her, and you'd hear it and we were like doing them like it was almost like an audio book, or like theater of the mind, right? The old school audio plays and all that kind of stuff. And it was just funny. It was just funny. Anyways, what I remember about her too is she used to have celery with peanut butter or cheese whiz. She sometimes would put cheese whiz.
Hey,
on it.
speaking of cheese,
I never got into celery. I just don't like celery. I mean, I can eat it, but it's not my favorite.
I'm giving Dave my resting bitch face look.
What's
you're supposed to send me your version of Cheez-Its or Cheez-Its
I
Puffs,
know,
whatever it
no.
is.
I know.
I've been asking for this for like 9 months.
I know. The next time, okay, look, I'm
You
gonna
just
do it.
Send me a lifetime supply.
No. The next time I'm up, I have to do this. I know. No. Hawkins Cheesies. That's what I have to say. Now we get Cheetos up here too. Chester Cheetah. We get up here too. But Hawkins Cheesies, man, whoo, big, thick. That's what she said. And they are. I beat you to it that time, Tony.
You did.
And very cheesy.
I got nothing now. You took
You
my
got
mojo
nothing. I
away.
took it away.
You took my
I took it
mojo
away.
from me.
Jack Ellis, $1.99 says, "Have you seen the Netflix show You?" I have not. I have not.
Have you?
No, have you? You?
I haven't.
I've not seen it.
Never
I've
even
not
heard
seen
of it
it.
until just now.
What's the time looking at? Where are we here? We are 2 hours and 12 minutes. Wow, we've gone over quite a bit.
We have.
Let me see. You want to just take this thing to 8:30?
Sure.
It's another 15 minutes. All right. We'll take this thing to 8:30, and then that will be it. I will never be live ever again. Actually, that's not true. This Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself, Cecil Laird, and Miko Hughes will be on the channel doing a watch-along of Wes Craven's new Nightmare. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, it's a little late for those of us on the west, or on the West Coast, on the
Man,
east
we haven't
side,
done that movie yet.
because obviously Cecil and Miko live on Pacific time. So that's really only 6 p.m. for them, and that's when they're able to do it. So 9 p.m. for everybody who's on EST. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 Pacific.
So that means we won't be able to do it for at least a good year to give you some time.
Yeah, probably. But that's all right. That's all right. We haven't done it
I
since.
love that. That's in my top 3 favorite.
I know. No, we haven't done that. We still have to do Jason Takes Vancouver, though.
Yeah.
Speaking
No,
of
we need to do-
rest bitch face.
We need to do, you know what we need to do? We need to do Last House on the Left. That's what we need to do.
Ooh, that's speaking of
that's
wildly
in my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. That's
I
like
know,
number
but
7.
but that's got to come with a big disclaimer because that's
we're watching along.
I know.
And
I'm
if
just
no one's
saying
ever seen it. Yes, it is very intense.
Very intense.
But it's well made. But it's like it's basically, if you think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is intense, it's like intense, but like by 100 times more.
Yeah.
Like but it's a really good horror movie. I mean, like it's
Wes Craven's first, isn't it?
First, and it gets under your skin. Didn't they do a remake of it? Like
they did. I think. Yeah. There's also the I Spit on Your Grave movies, which are pretty intense too. True. I've watched those.
We can also watch remember the old Faces of Death movies?
Watch those. We should, you know what? We should have a month or a string where we watch some old black and white classics, like All About Eve or Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Rear Window. Are those Rear Window in black and white? It might be in color. I think it's in color, actually.
Yeah, there's some. You can throw like a sci-fi in there too.
Yeah, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Not the Keanu Reeves one.
The Thing from Outer Space.
Yeah, the original. Yeah,
the original.
We still got to watch the '78 Invasion of the Body Snatchers, though. It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
I think we should do Last House soon. It's such a great movie.
It's pretty intense to the max.
It is. It really, really. Yeah. See, even Veronica. She
says, "Oh yes."
No one's ever seen it before, and if we do watch it in the very near future, it's.
Well, yeah, it would come with a kind of
major disclaimer, like, yo, you're about to see some shit.
Exactly. Well, it's an exploitative 1970s. It's an exploitative 70s film. So about
there
rape
were no rules.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Gary Rangel says, Dave, Tony, do you think all the negative backlash of Neve Campbell not returning will change her mind and have her come back for Scream 7? Nope.
No,
I think what's going to make her come back for Scream 7 is getting paid, bitches. Getting paid.
She doesn't. I don't think she cares about the online social media shit.
No, this is business.
She's barely on there to begin with. It's a business for her.
It's a business for it's a business for me. It's a business for you, Tony, as a professional photographer. That does not mean
I'll get paid if you want me to take those photos.
Of course, and you have to get paid what you're worth. And the longer you do the job, and the more you do it, and the more experience you have, and the bigger your portfolio is, the more you can demand, and the more that that's the way it works, right? And Neve Campbell, although she's most identified with Scream, she's a working actress, and she felt whatever they offered her, I don't know what it was, but she felt that it was too low. It was too low. For what she brings to the franchise. She is essentially the Laurie Strode of the franchise. For what she brings to the franchise and how, based on what my role was going to be, no, I do not feel that I am being valued here. Now I don't know if maybe she was being unreasonable. I have no idea. We don't know what they offered her. We don't know what she was expecting. But I do know. I mean, obviously, I've never been offered, $1 million to do a voiceover gig. But I can certainly say, working at the professional level, the highest level in voiceover, I can certainly say that, yes, sometimes I've run into that myself, where a buyer will want to pay a certain, whatever it is. And I've myself and my agents have said, no, if you want me, this is what it's going to be.
Dave's lying. He gets like 10 million.
Listen, I get 100 million a week.
Wait, he gets 10 million just to sit. In order for these people to sit down to talk to Dave, they got to give him 10 million.
Dude,
and then he still got to do the work.
Yes. I have a 10 million consultation fee. I mean, that is really what this is all about. Can you imagine?
Dave is the Wolf of Wall Street of Canada.
I am. No, but it's and there have been situations where the buyer will come back or the client will come back and be like, okay, because they really want you and they understand that, you know what I mean? And there have been times where they haven't, and they've gone with, they've had to go with somebody else who will be okay with that. Now, the only reason why I can do that is because of the level that I'm of how I've been able to build up my career. If I was just starting out, as most actors do, they will take anything because they're trying to build up their portfolio, and they'll usually do it at a cost that is appropriate for their level of experience and what they bring to the table, or whatever the case is. But in the case of Neve Campbell, I mean, she is Scream for all intents and purposes. And although she may not have had a big role in Scream 6, we don't know how big or how small it was, the value of having her there because of who she is and who she's brought and what she's brought to what she brings to the franchise, and how she does maybe put some butts in the seats, and who she is, she felt she was undervalued. So she said no. She made her and her agents and her reps made the absolute right choice.
And look, you
100%.
all know how I feel about her. I mean, that's my number one. That's my girl. That is it. There's no one above her when it comes to Final Girls. But having said that, I also think it's come to a point where we can move on from Sydney. You know what I mean? We see that now. I'm more interested in Jenna Ortega's character. And who was the other one that survived? Billy's daughter.
Yeah,
right?
her.
And then the twins, right? The girl that I thought was attractive, but she is gay. The curly hair girl. I think, was she a twin or had a brother or something like that?
I think she survived. Yeah.
I think those four were the survivors. But anyways, the point is, I'm more interested in Billy's daughter. I don't remember her name, but I'm definitely now hooked into Jenna Ortega's character. And I want to see that develop, that I won't feel like I'm missing Sydney. I've got 4 full movies with her, and then her guest starring in the 5th film, because she was really only in it.
Well, and there has to be an anchor. And what I mean by that is that when you talk about the character, if hypothetically, if Neve Campbell were to never come back ever again, so she doesn't come back ever again, let's just say that, which I don't think is, I think
got my girl Kirby coming back.
I know. I think it's 50-50 at this point, whether Neve comes back for 7. But let's say she never comes back ever again. It does leave the character in the moment on a good note, because you have Billy's daughter say, am I going to be okay? And Neve Campbell says, eventually. And that's a very powerful sort of statement to make, because she's coming from a place of experience, and she's speaking to her and, telling her that. It's almost like a passing of the torch in that moment, and so she can what brought Neve or Sydney back again was Dewey, and was the whole sort of, but Dewey's gone now, spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it yet, you're in no rush. He's gone now. Now you still have Courtney Cox's character that's there.
She's coming back, right?
Yeah, she's done her scenes. She shot all her scenes. So, but it's one of those things where once you weed out the legendary or the legacy characters, why would Neve continue to come back? I know it's Billy's daughter, but eventually, like realistically, unless they're going after Neve, unless there's a ghost face that is looking for Sydney, looking for Sydney and finds her in some apartment building in Toledo, Ohio or something. I mean, unless there's something like that, but why would Sydney continue to come back and put herself back into the situation? Does she really feel a sense of responsibility? Like, from a writing perspective, you have to think about that. What has brought her back each time? And if we continue to eliminate the catalyst for that, then we eliminate the need for Neve, because really at the end of the day, she would go on with her life, and she would say, it's not my problem anymore. There's nothing for me there to come back. Like, why am I coming back? Because of Billy's daughter, that's not even my daughter. I mean, why? Like, come on, So, but having said that, she is Neve Campbell and she is Sidney Prescott in Scream. So come Scream 7, do I think it's possible that they go, they back a Brinks truck up to her house relative to, the situation? She's not going to be like, it's not going to be $20 million, but,
there needs to be an end game with it too. You know what I mean?
Of course there does. But do I think she's going to be in 7? Do I think it's possible? Yes, but only if she gets paid. This is a business. It doesn't matter, like, with all due respect, Neve, she's not really Sidney Prescott. She's an actress playing a role, right? Not that you guys don't know this, of course, you all know this, but it's business. So she said, I will come back if you pay me. If you don't pay me, I'm done.
Jerry Maguire said it best. or no, Cuba Gooding Jr. said it the best to Jerry.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
That's it, man.
I can't remember Cuba's character. That's why I called him by his real name. What was his character's name?
I forget.
Shit. I know he was a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. I just can't remember his character's name. Anyways,
yeah.
Show me the money.
Show me the money, man.
That's what it's about.
Goes.
It's not personal. It's
business.
It's called show business for a reason.
It's business, you know. And, you know, whenever, again, I mean, it's not like I've been offered whatever Nev was going to be offered. But I can certainly tell you that, you know, I never feel guilty turning something down if I don't feel it's my worth. And they understand that. They don't walk away going, well, that stupid fucking piece. No, they go, okay, we can't get that talent because he's, you know, this is what it's worth. This is how much it costs to get this talent. So we can't get that talent because it's not in our budget. Okay, well, that's the end of it then, isn't it? Right? I mean, that's just the reality, right? That's the reality of show business. So Anthony T sends in $10 and says, would you be happy or pissed if Halloween Ends has Lori waking up and everything but was a dream and she was in the hospital screaming and it was 1978 and Michael is alive and killing randomly? Yes, I would be pissed because it makes absolutely no fucking sense at all.
I would be happy because then they can bring Halloween 4 back into the equation.
No, but here's the situation. But then where does that leave us, right? Everybody's talking about it being a dream. People are so funny. I love you. Where does that leave us? And then what? So she wakes up and it was all a dream, but then what? Like, then where does that, like, what? So then what? Like, I don't no, it's not going to happen. I will put money on it's not going to happen. And it would make me very angry if that's what it was.
It would make a lot of people angry.
Yeah.
As it is right now, this movie is really, you know, walking on eggshells with the fans with what we know so far. You know what I mean? And, you know.
It's true. It's true. Jose Reyes sends in $4.99, says, his rage. Funniest part in H6. Tony, does Ted Hollister get to live or get the leads still in your most recent what if idea on Halloween 4?
No, I need that
Cheers,
line.
Guys.
I need that line. Shit, Earl. It's Ted Hollister.
Okay, so Ted, yeah, because I think it was you, Jose, that asked me this the other day during one of my streams, and I said, hey, you got to ask Tony.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we had talked about, we did the what if Laurie Strode was in Halloween 4
that's right
last week. And no, man, you got to have that moment in 4. You still got to keep, you know, Ted's got to go. You got to have that moment with Earl. Shit, Earl, it's Ted Hollister.
True. You do. You totally do. You totally do.
Even though all that happened was there was just some bushes moving. How do you know it wasn't fucking an animal?
I know. Well, I think they eventually kind of saw when they went over, they
Earl
saw
and the good old boys went crazy with their shotguns.
That's it. All right, folks, listen, that is going to do it for Tony and I here on episode 163 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thank you to our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber. Thank you to the Super Chat questions, those non-Super Chat questions, and thank you for watching. Comment below and let Tony and I know your thoughts on Bigfoot.
And thank you for those of you who didn't watch us.
That's right, and thank you to all of you who didn't watch us. Oh, Cody Snyder gets a $5 super chat right at the buzzer and says, "Slipped right in, motherfuckers." Thank you, Cody. You rock, buddy. Comment below and let Tony and I know your thoughts on the videos we watched today and on Bigfoot in general. Do you believe? Do you think he's out there? Let us know your thoughts. Tony, any last things you'd like to say?
Nah, I'm ready.
No, you're good? You're good? All right. Frank is saying I missed a super... Oh, no, Frank deleted that. Okay, I thought maybe I missed a super chat.
Usually when the angry faces come up from Frank, we missed something.
Yeah, missed a super chat. All right, folks, take care. We'll see you next week. Cheers.